Welcome, everybody. The plan for today's stream is to do a little bit of chatting. I have some prepared topics for sure. I'd like to look at the DGG Awards, maybe watch I'm Really Important versus Rob Knorr later. Kind of depends on my energy levels. So I got really sick again. I hope it's just food poisoning. That may not be it. So I'm keeping an eye on my health, and depending on how things go with my health, I might go to a doctor, or I might, be out of the clear. It's really going to depend on how things go with my health. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So I don't have a ton of energy. My sleep schedule has been ruined because of this. It's been very uncomfortable being sick and in pain and, whatever else. So kind of bear with me here. If I have the energy, we'll for sure fit in a little bit of like an impromptu review. I have one that I'm working on kind of in the background about a Destiny conversation, and that will be a formal line by line. So look forward to that. That's like high on my priority list to get done. I'm putting aside a couple of video projects because of getting sick that were secrets that I really wanted to get out by the end of like the next week, but they're not happening anymore. So I'm a little bummed out. Thanks for the sub. Super duper appreciate that. So basically getting sick kind of ruined the momentum I had on a lot of stuff, but luckily BGG, the Booksmarts website, that's chugging ahead all on its own, so that's good. Same with video edits for the most part, but of course I'm not putting out the content that could be turned into video edits, so that's behind a little bit. High on my priority list is to get out that prepared debate review, set aside some time for it, and put that one out. As far as anything else, probably not, just until I know I'm I'm in the clear with my health, which is uncertain at the moment. So yeah, that's all. We'll be talking about a few other random assorted topics throughout the stream as well, about things that I've been watching and doing since I've been sick and stuck in bed and, watching things in the computer. But that's all I can say for now. We'll get into the stream in a little bit. I'm going to play some music from PictoChat. Oh, Twitch people. One other thing. And hello, VOD people. I forgot to say hi to the VOD people. Twitch people, we have sub badges now. We have proper sub badges. I commissioned an artist. See, my brain's all kerfluffled. I commissioned an artist to make us custom sub badges. That artist information can be accessed by doing !sleepy at any point in time. I'll be promoting them the next couple of weeks. You'll find that command also in the command scrolling bar. Super big props to them for turning this out fairly quickly at that. I'm super happy about that. If you have any input on those designs, let me know, and I can pay to get them changed. I think I'm pretty happy with the books. I think the brains may be something that we revisit later, but because so few people, I'm pretty sure, have the brain, I'm not sure it's that big of a deal, but we'll see, But so all the subs, leaving us out, you guys on YouTube have had your own sub badges this entire time, almost from the inception of the YouTube. Actually, I think from the inception, from the moment that I turned on memberships, I'm pretty sure you guys have had sub badges on YouTube. So you're not left out. Actually, Twitch has been left out for much, much, much longer because Twitch hasn't had sub badges this whole time, but the YouTube people do. So that's kind of funny that you would say that. I also assume, Squeeday, that you're not somebody who paid for a YouTube membership, so you don't even have any idea. Yeah, Twitch oppression for sure. Missed you, Booksmarts, but please take time you need for your full recovery. Oh, believe me, I did. it was very disappointing to some people behind the scenes that I just like said, no, I can't go to this meeting. Nope, I'm not working on this project anymore. Nope, we're going to drop this editing work. Nope, I can't look at this video. Like I basically said no to everybody for this entire time. I even had some very expensive commissioned work that I had to like postpone as well. I think maybe close to $500 or $600 worth of like commissioned work that I'm just completely shelving until I feel like I'm all better. So no, believe me, I know at this point that I can't work through all that stuff, so I definitely don't. But I think I'm coming out of it now. I think there may be problems internally with my body, but we'll kind of... I don't really want to talk about it very much, to be quite honest with you. But we'll talk about that maybe a little bit more later in the stream. But right now, that's my main concern, is that because of some like recurring issues with my body, I may have like bigger problems that I need to go to the doctor about. And that may mean kind of hastening my trip back to the United States so that I can speak to my doctors there about it and maybe start to work on that a little bit. So, you know, I'm not exactly a healthy book at the moment, but I'm out of the clear in terms of like a lot of the fogginess in my brain, and a lot of the pain has gone away, but it's still there. So yeah, I mean, like, I'm good enough to stream, and I have to stream because this is my job. But, you know, I did take the time off that I thought that I needed. If you want a bleeding headache book smarts, you should go over the panel that Destiny was on recently. Prime Kai's panel. It was Brain Damage Tier. Okay. Maybe we'll look at whatever you guys recommend later then. Hey, hello, book. Take care of yourself. I will. Okay. So we're going to be playing some music from the well-renowned Picto Chat, okay? And I will be back in a little bit. I left my door open because I'm throwing out some trash that's in the house right now that is accumulated as I've been sick and stuck inside. So I'm going to go take out that trash, and I'll be back in a bit. Enjoy! Exclamation point Picto for more information about this artist. That's enough of that then, eh? Let me get comfy and cozy here. Get this light on. Ooh, there we are. Quite bright. I definitely need to talk about this. Okay. Definitely need to talk about this. And this. Okay. I'm all set. I'm all set. Book. Yes, it is I. Let me go ahead and turn it to the right scene here. All right. Hi, everybody. I know I'm unshaven and whatever. Like I said, been a long week. You know what? We should open up with a bit of positivity because there's a lot of negativity that I unfortunately have to kind of go through here. Or I don't have to, but I feel for transparency, probably good to go through. Positivity. Super duper happy with where work is at the moment. So I got sick, really sick, and we'll talk about that. But I was able to take time off in no small part because I have a small team behind me. I have a team of transcribers, a team of commenters, a team of video editors, a team of people assisting me with various tasks. So shout out to the Booksmarts team, to Rio, to Tack, to Demas, to Mark, the marketing guy, to Lou, my main transcriber person, to all of them. Thank you guys, because without you and without this support structure, I would not have been able to like take this time off and come away from that time off feeling okay, you know. My mental is in a decent place in spite of falling behind on some of the projects and stuff I wanted to do, because a lot of the main projects that are important are taken care of by other people. So that's been awesome. And yeah, so just hats off to the Booksmarts team. I really respect all the work that everybody puts in and the help that everybody offers me, and the community behind me, which is super duper awesome. So shout out to you guys as well. All of that together has created this kind of like support structure for me that beyond just like friends and family keeps me going and makes me feel more okay with taking time off, especially when I need it, like I have the last week. That being said, probably good to then transition to the oh damn, book looks tired. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I'm still kind of sick. And oh yeah, my mod team as well. I shouldn't forget about you guys, Revan and Vels and Amanda and Darth Bane and Tommy and everybody else. Thank you guys as well. So I was really sick, really sick. I was in a lot of pain. I suspect that it's partially because of this place that I went to eat at. Of course, this is a Booksmarts classic, getting food poisoning. To be fair, the entire time that I've been in Europe, I don't think I've gotten like bad food poisoning. I got really bad food poisoning when I was in Mexico, to the point where I thought I might have to get hospitalized. This is hitting closer to the mark, but I think I might have some more general issues internally that I have to go to a doctor about. And so that's, of course, worrying me a little bit. But like everybody else, I'm going to have my health problems that I'm going to have to deal with. And the older I get, the more important it is that I start taking those things a bit more seriously. So that's something that I'm definitely doing. A part of combating that has been being more kind of disciplined about exercise and sleep. So I'm kind of taking those things more into account. And yeah, that's something I'm thinking more about now. So I won't get into too many details about my health, but yeah, needless to say, I probably need to go to a doctor about something going on with like my digestive tract, because I think I have some larger issues there that need to be addressed. I'm not sure how big they are. So I've not to like WebMD it, but like I've done enough work with nurses and stuff to know that like the problems that I'm going through at the moment are problems that are indicative of something larger that I need to go see a doctor about. So if you ever see me disappear, it might be because of some of those health problems. One of those health problems that I'm already diagnosed with, and I already know that is a problem for me, is sleep. That was something that I have gotten prescriptions for in the past. I have not been very happy with the way that like sleep medication affects me personally. So I've been more okay with trying things like I think it's called melatonin or whatever. That doesn't really work for me. I've been on anti-anxiety and SSRI stuff. The SSRI stuff has been kind of helpful for me. The anti-anxiety stuff is a little bit more like it comes with negatives that I'm not necessarily chill with. And that's similar for the sleeping aid stuff. It comes with a lot of negatives that I'm not really chill with. So when I lived in California, and this is going to sound like a meme, but I thought that marijuana kind of helped with that stuff. It helped with my anxiety, depending on what I chose to do and how much of it I chose to do. It also helped with sleep. And I don't have that anymore now that I'm in Europe. So that's not something I can fall back on. Now, the sleep problems are kind of like a two-part thing. So number one is going to be discipline, and number two is going to be medication. So there's probably a two-part thing to that I need to work on. And I've not been as good on the discipline stuff because before I was able to really rely upon medication to get around that. And the problem is that as my sleep schedule starts to get messed up, I miss a lot of streams and I can't stick to that. The schedule that we set out, I will be leaving Romania probably in the next week. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I need to be out of this Airbnb in less than a week. And I don't know where I want to go or what I want to do. So I definitely need to go to the doctor about my health, which means either going here in Romania or going to another EU country where I could go to a doctor, or alternatively going back home to the US. So part of the reason why I've stayed in Romania is I've been able to save up a good little bit of money so that I have a little bit of like a safety cushion that I can fall back on. And I hope that beyond that safety cushion, I was able to save up enough to be able to pay for rent when I get back to the US. Another thing I would do when I would go to the US is talk to a tax professional to get all of my business stuff sorted, since now the Twitch is not even the Twitch, just streaming is my main job, which again, shout out to you guys and shout out to the Booksmarts team. Like, without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. This is a legitimate job now for me. I'm full-time on this stuff. I have been for a while, but at this point it's affording like a quality of living that I think is within the acceptable means for me. Now, it does not afford me a decent quality of living in the United States, in California in specific, which is a bit of a problem, right? There's this kind of big gap between like being able to survive and thrive all over the world and being able to survive and thrive in California. So kind of reconciling what I want to do there is something I need to think more about the next week. And I might invite you guys in on that journey with me to kind of go to you guys for some help. Anecdotally, I found one medication from my psychiatrist that single-handedly allowed me to fix my insomnia. Yeah, we've tried a couple different things. It's just I haven't found one that works for me. And the process of doing it is a little bit involved, especially since I travel so much. It's not as easy for me to like work with a single person on getting medications that work out for me. So when I lived more consistently in California, I did find exercises and behavioral therapies that worked really well for my anxiety and stuff, but insomnia is like a different beast. And it's not necessarily just insomnia. It's more so that like my sleep schedule gets really, really fucked. And there are definitely like periods where it's really, really good. It's just keeping it within those periods requires discipline. And I think the discipline thing is what I'm lacking. So I need to be okay with telling friends no more. Now, it's a bit of like a whole beast because I don't want to tell my friends no for doing stuff because I don't have a lot of time that I feel like I'm able to completely disengage like the streamer part of my brain and to relax. So I think taking days off that are very deliberate, really structuring the work days that I have and making those very intentional is something that I have to do. But to do that, there are requirements. So requirement number 1 is to know where I'm going to be living. Requirement number 2 is to have a stream schedule set up. And requirement number 3 is to like communicate these things to my team so that days that I'm not streaming and days that I need to work, those are things I still need to work out and have very planned and structured. So that's something that I need to work on a little bit better. I'd never give advice on this stuff. What works for one hurts another. Audiobooks helps me sleep, seriously. Yeah, anime helps me sleep a lot, so I've gone back to anime. Laugh at that as much as you like, but like if I put on Naruto or Black Lagoon or like anything I've seen before, I'm able to like pretty quickly fall asleep. Kurzgesagt videos put me to sleep. There's some stuff that I've been kind of dipping back into like the mental cupboard for that like help me sleep. So I've been trying a lot more of those things. So so it's boring. Yeah, no, it's more so I know everything that's gonna happen, so my brain can just lightly engage with the material. And because it can just lightly engage with the material, it's just distracting enough to where like I can let sleepiness set in. The problem is I don't feel sleepy a lot of the time at times where I need to feel sleepy. And the process for correcting my sleep schedule takes quite a few days. And if at any point during that process of correcting it or thereafter, I mess it up, then my sleep schedule is ruined again, and that process takes a long time to fix. So you add into that mix the fact that I have a lot of obligations like tutoring and meetings and things like that. It's just more difficult, right? Because like with essay writing before, it was very easy to correct these things because the schedule didn't necessarily require that I be up to talk to people at certain times or whatever. But streaming and the meetings and the stuff that I'm doing now definitely do. And so that also ruins things. Like if I knew that like, oh man, I'm so close. I'm like one more day from like getting the sleep schedule on track. If only I could wake up at like noon today. And then the next day I could wake up at like 8 to 10 a.m., then I would be perfect. And then it's like, oh, well, you have a meeting at like 7:30 a.m. or something. It's like, fuck. So I'm going to have to wake up early for that meeting. Then I end up falling asleep at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon without like, you know, I'm just like laying in bed watching something and then I knock out and then I wake up and I'm like, oh, fuck, it's nighttime outside. What happened? You know, and then it's like, oh, it's fucking 8 p.m. So now my sleep schedule is fucked again. So it's just like I get very close to fixing things and then other things kind of knock me off the track. So I need to be more intentional about that stuff. And that's something I have to work on just personally. So yeah. Booksmart's panels help me fall asleep. Nice. Yeah. I got diagnosed with non-24-hour sleep-wake disorder a while back. Just means that, yeah. So part of why I wanted to talk about the insomnia stuff a little bit more and the sleep schedule stuff a little bit more is actually because one of the people that I'm working with in tutoring, I shit you not, has the exact same thing that you're talking about, and hearing them be more open about talking about it made me think maybe this is something I should be more transparent with the stream about, my problems with sleeping and stuff, because maybe that'll help you guys understand a little bit more about like why I'm grumpy sometimes, or why I'm really, really hyped up and energetic, or things like this is because like my sleep schedule is really wonky and it doesn't necessarily line up with the stream a lot of the time. That's why sometimes, more often lately, I've been on stream and like, hey, I haven't slept. It's been more than like 22 hours and I haven't slept. Because when I know that I have a stream and the stream is at 8 o'clock in the morning and it is like 5 o'clock in the morning when I'm like going to go to bed, and it's like, well, I'm not going to be able to sleep for like 3 hours and then do this thing. So I'm going to have to like soldier through it. And then the stream ends at like noon, or even worse, it ends at like 2 or 3 p.m. and then I'm super tired, and then yada, yada, it gets fucked. So yeah, that's all a bunch of problems that I'm working with my health. And I probably need to make a very intentional decision about where I go next in the world. I would really like to go to Denmark with a viewer and explore Denmark, maybe some places around that area, maybe the Netherlands, maybe Germany. But I'm really thinking the more responsible decision is probably to go back home to the US, go to a doctor for a little bit, and start to work on building a base there, and just revisit the Europe journey at another point. So we could call this one the Eastern European trip, and next time we'll do the Western European trip, and I'll do France and all the other places that I could visit. So that's probably realistically what I should do. Is it what I'm going to eventually do? I don't know. That seems to me to be the responsible decision, even if it's not exactly what I would want to do, because it would be a lot of rushing for maybe 30 days that I have left to like hang out in the Schengen zone. And I don't know how consistent I could be on streaming if I were hanging out with other people and at their house and stuff. So I just don't know if that's going to happen, or if that's like a responsible thing I should do given the direction my health is taking at the moment. And like, if I went back to the US, I don't quite have enough money saved to like be able to do what I want to do in terms of living situations. The most that I could afford is probably a room in a house somewhere, which means I would need to pay for an Airbnb locally for maybe a month, scout out and do interviews for rooms, get a room, and then by January, I would probably have all my stuff set up, and I would be able to like move into a room somewhere in California, maybe for a few months while I again save more money, fix my tax stuff, and have bank statements and stuff that I could use to apply for an apartment. Or maybe even, depending on how streaming goes, and if booksmarts.gg launches sometime during that window, maybe even considering a house somewhere else. Because as much as I love my family and love being local to them, I don't know if it's just super doable for me to be in Southern California. So a lot of difficult decisions I have to make. A lot of difficult decisions coming up for me. So not looking forward to having to make them. I hate having to make those kinds of decisions, but that's probably where I'm at. If I didn't do California, I would probably need to do Mexico and then commute up to California every so often. But I really think I should just do California, rent a room, go to my office, stream from the office, yada, yada, yada. What's good is I still have like 6 months on the laptop warranty. So that means that I don't have to rush back to the US, but the health thing has kind of forced me into a position where it's like, I probably need to go back to the US. So that's where we're at. Eastern European arc was dragging, to be honest. Appreciated the absence of filler though. Okay. The Eastern European speed bump, sure. What works for me is forcing myself to wake up at a desired time for a day or two. Yeah, my mood gets really affected by that. And when my mood is affected by that, anxiety and depression tend to get affected by that. So thank you, Shorterman. Let's see what you have to say.
Have a nice stream and good night.
Good night. Yeah, so like that doesn't work for me because it starts to like get some demerits in the category of like mental health. And if I do that once or twice and I'm like stressed out and stuff, that can really negatively affect things for me. Otherwise, I would definitely do that. Like when I did essay writing before, I could easily do that. Just set an alarm for the daytime and then stick to that alarm as like an anchor. But it doesn't work that way anymore because I have like nonstop work and stuff. Yeah. Become a streamer, hikikomori in Japan manga. Again, Japan is on my list of places that I would like to go to and spend 90 days in, but they're probably not going to reopen for a little bit, at least another few months. So it's probably not going to happen. This COVID thing has really fucked a lot of like alternative options I had for places to live. I really have a bad time with 24-hour sleep schedules. Every health normie. Yeah, well, I have a hard time sleeping sometimes, and I just deal with it. It's called discipline. I hope that's not like aimed at me at all. Because I did say discipline. I really do think it is a two-part thing with sleeping stuff. Like, I think to make fun of or to rule out discipline as a factor in that equation kind of misses part of it, because even people with sleeping disorders and stuff, you're not doing yourself any good by making decisions that are not helping to address that problem. And I certainly see that in myself and other people. And I think that's something worth considering. You don't want to put all of that onto your sleep disorder thing, because you can actively do things that hurt your ability to sleep that extends beyond the scope of simply just the disorder. So you definitely want to keep in mind that there's a discipline aspect to that. You have to say no to certain things. You have to be wary of alarms and things like that. You need to be more aware of and in control of habits that you have around sleeping. Like, there's a huge component to that is within your control and stuff that you need to work on. So I don't know if making fun of that is necessarily something that I would do, but I see that's what you're doing. Thanks for that, Jedi Pork Chop. I'm happy to have you on the team.
Can I get a welcome to the jungle?
Welcome to the jungle. It gets worse here every day. They eat pigeons in Romania, but they don't have any ranch dressing. SoCal is so expensive too, man. Best of luck. I live in Wyoming, so the cost of living in California isn't something I can really understand. Yeah, it's expensive. No, I was only joking. Oh, okay, good. Do you have a Patreon / have you considered getting one? I do have a Patreon. You could do !Patreon in the chat to get that information. Although Patreon is increasingly becoming like one of the smallest contributing things to my income, but it's also something that I don't know what's the chicken and the egg there, but is not something that like I prioritize a ton. Like, I need to update all of the tiers on there and be more realistic with what's put out there, because right now the tiers don't necessarily reflect like the benefits that you're going to get and stuff. So like, I don't think it's like all of the patrons. I don't think it's on the patrons that the Patreon doesn't perform as well. I think that's mostly on me, but it's just like, that's a project that it's going to take a long time to fix. Like, it's going to take a while to fix, because you have to go back through every single post on Patreon individually and check and uncheck every box for every new Patreon tier that you create, because the back end of Patreon is not designed very well in a way where you can make mass changes to all of your posts. Like, for instance, when I added the postcard tier, I had to go to every single individual post in my entire Patreon history, click them one by one, go to each of those pages one by one, and edit all of them one by one in order to make them available to those patrons. And what I mean by that is you can't simply open up the Patreon list and like Control-Tab click all of the links open. It'll open in that page. So you basically are forced to go one by one through posts, add a new tier's access to old posts. So like, and they don't have a checkmark option for like a $40 tier should get access to all of the benefits from the below tiers. Instead, you need to individually check every single tier that should have access to a post. So when a new tier is added, you have to manually go back retroactively and add access for every single post you've ever made for that new tier. You can't do it all at once, or you can't simply say this tier should have access to all perks that this tier has, which is really frustrating. And I've emailed them about it. I've asked them to fix it. They refuse to fix it. So it's a huge project to fix Patreon. Just sleep, dude. You just need discipline. Sounds ableist to me. All right, bro. I know everyone talks about meditation and stuff for anxiety, but Yoga Nidra, it's a kind of meditation you do lying down, does wonders in the short term for anxiety. Sure. Book Smarts, re-sleeping and anxiety. Have you had your thyroid checked? My life was pretty much unbearable for a few years until I got my diagnosis. It's one of the things that I'm looking at, one of the things that I need to go to a doctor for. I need a doctor to look at quite a few things that are wrong with me, and whatever tests they run, I need to have them done because I need tests for a few different things.
My friend.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Book farts.
Yeah. And hey, if you're on the Twitch, scope your sub badge. Y'all have sub badges now. !sleepy for the artists that I commissioned to do those for more of their information. But yeah, now we have sub badges on the Twitch. YouTube, you have memberships. You guys have had sub badges since the inception of the memberships thing. So you guys have that. But Twitch hasn't had sub badges the entire time that the channel has been live. Now you do. So hope you guys enjoy those. When you talk about California, you always say office. Do you rent an office space to stream? Yes. I have an office space in Southern California that I pay for every single month. I have a really good deal on it, and that's why I continue to pay for it. I also have like a storage space that I pay for there. And those two things alone, sometimes, like for all the things that I pay for in California, not even living there, some months that has added up to more than I've spent on like an Airbnb that I'm living in. So it's like, it's like difficult. So like if I lived in California, I would save in some regards because I would actually be making use of spaces and things that I'm paying for. But in other regards, it's just super expensive to live in California. It is what it is, you know. I can't wake up early to shift my sleep. I have to stay up. I switch my sleep by 12 hours every 2 weeks for shift work. Interesting. I'm not sure what you are going through, but I hope you get better. Thanks. Don't you want to become a Romanian citizen? Hell no. What's your opinion on the constant bad faith framing around the Rittenhouse stuff? We'll talk about that in a little bit. It's on my list. I just want to get through the illness stuff. That way I can tell people to just go back and rewatch the VOD. Straight stripping. Good to have you. Hope you enjoy your sub badge along with everybody else who is subbed today. Wow, I get to watch live. Get well soon. I will try. Just don't be anxious. Yeah. Do you use hair gel or anything in your hair? No. I have like a pomade that I can put in it, but I never do. I think the pomade is more so when I need it to look a certain way for like an event or something, or when it's freshly cut, it can do something. But at this point, my hair has grown like way too much, and I need to probably get it cut soon. But no, I don't put anything in it. I just make sure that I'm like styling it and stuff as it's wet and drying, which I think has a huge impact on how the hair turns out. I think being very intentional about that period from shower to fully dry is important, and that's going to train your hair. What is this? Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Welcome to the club. Training is a huge help for me with sleep. Diagnosed at 15 with a fatigue disorder. Lucky to get 4+ hours of sleep a night for years. If I stop, I notice my mental and physical health dropping. Yeah. I already talked about the illness stuff. You could rewind the VOD. Or we're just going to call it exclamation point rewind from now on for that stuff. But yeah, so that's something. The other thing is like, kind of weirdly for me, what looks like a good night of sleep for me, I sleep for a very long time, naturally. Naturally, I need anywhere from between 9 to like 10 or 11 hours of sleep. 11 is really pushing it. It's rare that it's that long, but I think 9 to 10 is generally where I'm at, where I actually feel rested. So I sleep a lot. Like when my sleep schedule is set and it's good, I sleep for a long time, and I can definitely feel it when I don't have that. Seems like you could just add a new post with all the previous stuff instead. No, you can't. You can't. You can't, because all of those links and stuff need to they're old posts. They all have text on them. It's not possible. I won't go into it, but it's not possible. I do concentrated breathing, and it doesn't help. It doesn't mean pushing with your ass when you. Okay, I'm ignoring you. Depression is also a common cause before they diagnose you with it. Okay, I'm ignoring this stuff. Ignoring. Hey, Book Smarts, happy to see you're back. I hope you're doing all right. I'm doing okay. The audio injection, thank you. Romanian girls are hot as shit. Yeah, until they get old. Always watched on YouTube and VODs. Glad to see you live. Hope you are well or getting better. A little bit. I'm getting a little bit better. Damn, it looks good. It looks like you styled it. Nah, just like fingers through the hair a lot. And then occasionally when I notice that it's not doing what I would like, I'll blow dry it when I get out of the shower, and that'll like reset how it's styling for a while. So for me, it's just make sure you take care of it when it's drying, and then blow dry it every so often to kind of get it used to being poofed. So yeah. Big Smarts, can you fill in your beard with Rogaine? I could try, but I'm not that weird about it. I don't know, buddy. Just talking shit. Okay, whatever. From hot as shit to babushka status in 1 year. Yeah, it's interesting. I think some people, like some groups of people, age like really well, or they're attractive in their own way when they're older. I don't really feel like that's the case for Romanian women. I'm ignoring people just because it's like, I love that Stonewall emote. Is that an Anna emote, or is that some meme from another channel? I'm just ignoring people because I don't want to respond to a lot of this stuff. So, Yasha has put me asleep quite easily. Yeah, the old anime for me. I swear everyone thinks I'm lying when I mention my girlfriend. Saying your girlfriend is a Romanian doctor and looks like she does, they assume I'm fake yet. I would too. How has Romania been for you? Not good. Tried all the cabbages yet? No. One of the only times that I went out to eat here, I got violently ill. So it's just like, I'm not really down for Romanian cuisine very much. Maybe at a different point in time. Oh, it's a heme emote. Interesting. He has guy eating pigeon PTSD. Okay. So we're all done with the illness thing. Let's move on from that. No need for that anymore. I'll cross that off my list here. There's just one other thing I want to talk about on that. And it's so because I have anxiety, my brain kind of functions a little bit like have you guys ever seen like a flywheel? It's this really, really big wheel on like a stick that you store power in. So it can be big. It could be like made out of steel and like this thick, and it spins and spins and spins, and it holds a bunch of energy in it, to where you could like plug something else into the wheel, and then that spins and the wheel will transfer its energy to whatever. But if you touch this wheel, you could like destroy your hand. Like it's going to keep going. Inertia. Exactly. It's got inertia. And for my brain, and through talking in therapy, it feels a lot like my brain is like a flywheel of sorts. Like as I continue to work, get in the groove of things, be on top of my schedule, know everything that's going on, I'm adding energy into this flywheel. And it's really great because at any point I can plug in like an arm of the business or something that I need to do, and it immediately engages, and there's an immediate energy transfer because I have all this stored energy of like thinking about and being kind of really, really, really invested in my work or my family life or whatever it is. And unfortunately, that wheel is not always like compatible with other things, right? So like if I'm spending a bunch of time on work, I can't necessarily like plug family into that and have that transfer efficiently. So I have like multiple of these going. And part of the problem is when I want to relax or something, that wheel is still constantly going. And the things that I'm doing to relax or to enjoy kind of like bump into it and they get all messed up. And so, but if I take time off to decompress, to slow down the wheel, to like put a brake on it and wait till it comes to like a full stop or a near stop, I'm less efficient at my work, more anxious about my work, and it's more difficult to get started on it. And that's kind of a bit of a problem. Less of a problem now that I have people helping me, because I think I can operate with that wheel going a little bit slower, because I can just constantly engage with people who are already learning and thinking about the work that they're doing. and just impart a little bit of their energy so I don't have to store all that inside of me. So for instance, I have an assistant now. Their name is Rio, and they help me with scheduling and stuff like that. And it's very nice to have Rio work with everybody in the booksmarts.gg project and schedule with them and fix Discord issues for them and to give like small tasks to them rather than having to like spend my own energy or time on that. And what that means is Rio has their own flywheel spinning of keeping track of all of that. And I can just check in and impart energy from that when it's necessary. That means I don't have to do that startup spin. Same with booksmarts.gg. We have a project leader for booksmarts.gg who is fairly competent and is super duper involved with the project. So he can keep track of everything that's going on, all the people, etc., divvying up the assignments to people, figuring out who's doing what and how that's going. And so he can store all that stuff. And then I check in on that every so often. Same with video editing. TAC is a machine. Going, keeping track of everything. I just need to touch into that every so often. Soon enough, prep will be like that. Lou does all of the transcription stuff, so I don't have to start up a giant wheel every time I want to get into a conversation. It's kind of already going because the transcription is there, and I can check in and check out within like 24 to 48 hours. I check in, watch the video, do all my notes, look at comments from other people, read Reddit, and then check out, right? Or ideally do the stream and then check out, right? And then like I slow it down as I'm reading comments about the stream and stuff, and then we're done with it, and then we're on to the next one, right? And so I've done things kind of both in a business sense are smart, but also from a mental health perspective are smart for me. And I think now I need to kind of capitalize on that a little bit more, have maybe 1 or 2 days off a week that are super intentionally off so that if there's any kind of residual energy on that flywheel in my brain, whether it's for video editing, whether it's for this, whether it's for that, that I can get all those out. And part of that also is making sure that I'm hooking something up into that flywheel to get all the energy out as efficiently as possible before I pull a break. Thank you, Zergle. And what I mean by that is when that wheel is going, I could do something with it. So like I can be like, well, I'm thinking a lot about video editing and I think that we can improve this process and do this and tell checkers to fix this thing and blah, 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 blah. So engage with the wheel and with the brain and let that kind of transfer more of its energy. So it slows down a bit, because when I put the brake on a day off, I can't do anything productive with all that saved energy. I'm literally just putting it all into the brake and losing it, right? There's no like regenerative process like on an EV. So I'm just simply putting a lot of effort into stopping that wheel from spinning anymore. And then I have to start back over again every week. So getting in some really good work days before my days off where I can like get all that energy out or as much out as possible, then chill the fuck out and then hop back on it after my chill out period. That's something that I need to work on, something I got to get better at. So that's the way I view that stuff. And I have that written down here as something I wanted to talk about a bit. And here's the other thing is there used to be a regenerative break for me. And it was marijuana. Because what it would do is it edges off the anxiety quite a bit for a while. And it lets me more easily take out from that flywheel without being like afraid of it too much. So what it would do is it would help me kind of convert some of that like anxious thinking into more like creative thoughts. And it also helped me, when combined with meditation, to realize where there are inefficiencies in the wheel. So if the wheel is going super fast, but it's constantly like oscillating, well, how much of the energy is going into like overcoming that oscillation? Like, well, I'm thinking a lot about this, but I need to stop thinking about this thing because it's not efficient. I need to stop thinking about this thing because it's silly. I need to stop thinking about this thing because it's not important. Thank you. I appreciate that. And so those realizations were easier to get to because I was able to get to like a third person chilled out perspective a lot easier when I was doing marijuana. And it helped with meditating more easily. And so again, because I don't have that, it's a bit tougher. I'm assuming we got some gifted subs. Is that what's going on here? Happy to have you guys in the community though. But so yeah, that all being said, like, you can start to see the picture I'm painting, that being back in California and having access to marijuana is something that, like, for better or for worse, I see as like a very positive thing for me. I see that as like a helpful thing to have available to me. And it was something I enjoyed, you know, similar to motorcycling. Not exactly the healthiest thing necessarily, not pretending like it is, but it helped me like live a more fulfilling life or be happier or whatever. It helped me be more creative for the stream. So yeah. When did you start meditating? Probably when I was like 17 or 18. Nopers, just a lot of people subbing. Oh, nice. Well, happy to have Humogus, Ogre Thorn, Don Flamenco, all of you guys. Happy to have you on. Dude, get into electric unicycling. No thanks. Weed is different for everyone. It can cause anxiety in some people. Sure, I'm not like, to be clear, none of this is advice for you guys. I'm just like talking about like my health, my thoughts, why I'm making decisions that I'll be making, where I'm going to go. This is all just me stuff. That's also why when you guys were giving a lot of the advice or statements about depression and this and that, I did kind of skip past them because I don't want this to turn into like a broader discussion about what you should and shouldn't do, because some of the things that I'll be discussing here are not necessarily things that you should do, right? So I'm just like really trying to steer clear of that. That's why before I ignored some of the chat messages that I was getting. So just to be clear, you know, there's dope in Romania. You know, it's illegal in Romania. Like, I'm not a big like breaker of the law, especially with drugs. Maybe because I come from a country where breaking the law around drugs can get you in a lot of trouble. But I don't do that. So no. What about a cheaper state with legal weed? It is a possibility. It is a possibility. Definitely. I just, if I did that, if I chose to do that, that would probably be a task I would give to my assistant to do, to like look at other alternatives. Because one other thing you have to realize is, I don't want to talk about this. I won't talk about this. It would be a task that would like take a toll on my mental in a way where like I would have to have somebody else do it. So weed destroys me, gives me, okay, cool. They got ones with suspension. What? Breaking the law abroad sounds terrifying. Yeah, not my cup of tea. Let me try to catch up here and see if there's anything else I missed. I'm subbing because weed. Cool. Don't get put in Romanian jail, Monka W. No, I don't plan to. Let's see here. To be fair, Vosh has outpaced Destiny intellectually. Interesting opinion. Let drama be drama. They do that stuff because it's profitable. What are you guys talking about in YouTube chat? You seem like a pretty competent and interesting boss, Book Smarts, at least if I were to compare you to other streamers your size. Yeah, if you're a streamer that has talked to me in private in the last month, or even maybe before that, I talk about this with you probably at some point or another. I operate very differently than other streamers. I'm not like the other girls, right? But no, like, unironically, the way that I view streaming as a business is very different than how my counterparts do. I was talking with Mr. Geek offline while we were playing some video games these last couple of days. And if you didn't know, Mr. Geek is the person that edits Dylan Burns' videos and works with him on producing some of the shows that Dylan Burns comes out with alongside Danabo. And talking with Mr. Geek a bit and talking about the behind the scenes of that and how he works and interfaces with Dylan and how streamers in general interface with their subordinates and whatever. And I use subordinates as like a more professional term. This isn't some like hierarchy nonsense, right? I'm very different. when I was doing interviews with prospective people who are going to work on video editing, this was something that became very apparent, is when I shared them the systems we're using behind the scenes to track videos as they're being worked on, the system for commentary, the system for the style guide on videos, all these sorts of things, how communication would work with me and other people on the team. They were very surprised because it's typically really informal, the way that streamers are working with their video editor, and it's often not a two-way street. So there's a lot of, the streamer tells you to do something, oftentimes in a very vague way, and you need to just go do it. And there's not a lot of upstream communication, whereas that's something I totally encourage with everybody that works for me, is especially when I'm training them, one of the first things that I tell them is, hey, so we have these work documents. You're probably going to think that they're very thorough, right? Because there's a lot on there. It covers a lot of use cases. The reason why they appear thorough is because I take in a lot of input from you guys. If there's anything in here that you think can improve, let me know immediately. Don't sit on it. Like, I'm not the kind of person that thinks that like this is the word of God and it's always going to be this way because I said it's this way and yada, yada, yada. If these things should change, you're the only person that is going to do this work. So it's more important if you think it should change, then I think it should be this way, right? And like, if there's anything I can do to make your job easier, like, hey, Booksmarts, if we just had you read out a shout out on the YouTube, that would be amazing because it would like increase conversions to subs by like XYZ%. If I just had an audio clip from you, like any of these kinds of requests, I'm totally okay with them. And they have a pathway to tell me those things. And this is just like one facet of a much larger machine of working with people that I developed and learned more about when I did essay writing, right? Ever since I was super duper young, like ever since I was maybe 12 or 13, I did my own stuff. I had my own hustles. I sold headphones. I went door to door and sold like candy and sodas in the summertime for extra money. I worked at a barber shop and I bought a bunch of like sodas and snacks and stuff that I would sell at the barber shop. I did like RuneScape stuff to make money. Like I've always been like fairly entrepreneurial. And when I started working on essay stuff, I had to be much more serious about working with other people and systems and things like that, reading books about that in management theory, yada, yada, yada. So that's one of my strengths. And that's something I lean into in a way that other streamers don't, because they don't have those skills, right? And it takes a while to learn that you need to have those skills, and then it takes even longer to figure them out. And a lot of streamers haven't even hit the point where they realize they need those skills. So we can't expect them to have figured it out because that step takes even longer. And so whenever I'm doing stuff, it's interesting to talk to other streamers behind the scenes because our workflows are completely different, right? Like even with you guys, when I'm thinking about streams, I don't often think about viewers very much. I've offloaded all thinking about viewers to Mark the marketing guy because I don't think it's a healthy way of looking at streams for me, right? And you're seeing that mental health and business success, whatever, are two very important reasons that I design systems or I hire people. So he handles all the viewer stuff. All I look at is like compensation, right? That's the only thing I can look at and feel okay about because it feels positive to me. Viewers, I don't care about. And if I have to be forced to care about viewers, I'm going to feel really weird about it. I more so care about compensation. If I do a stream where I know I'm not going to get compensated a ton, I'm okay with that. It's whatever. If that's going to be the case, then whatever little amount I make, I want to have fun with. That's why I'll do a drawing stream. There is the potential there to make some money. It's definitely limited by time and by like audience size, but like I want to do something fun. I want to draw, and here is the side way that can make money, and that's a stream that I enjoy doing. Or when I play just one game of League, I will play the game. You can pay for more games. Otherwise, I will go and play something else that is like completely fun for me, like Apex or Back for Blood or Dungeon the Endless, right? And then there are some streams where it's just like, I want to hang out with my community. I want to do just chatting. If I want to do just chatting and I want to make money, I'll do a bed stream and I'll do something goofy, right? So like when I look at everything in terms of compensation, it helps me do that a little bit better. When I look at a debate review, like, okay, I'm gonna put in extra time because this is going to be a moneymaker stream. I can ask for it at any point because we're putting in a lot of value for people. This is going to be a YouTube video at some point. Like, this is serious mode, right? And that's why I don't care if we go 8 hours. Like, I want to do the best that I can possibly do, and then I want to give it to an editor, and we make a really good video, and then that is cemented for all of history as something I did that was good. Whoa! A YouTube member, welcome to the club, Nathan Fulner. Basically, I look at everything in streaming very differently than my peers. From the way that I work to the way that I work with people, how many people I work with, and how I even evaluate the success or failure of stream. So that's me. And now I'm looking at filling time. So I want to have more streams with you guys. So one thing I'm going to do is have streams where I completely don't care if there's compensation there or not. And that enables me, because I also have a team of people who can help me prep streams, to pick up on ideas that I haven't ever done before, or I've said I want to do and then I never do because they're difficult. Like having collabs with other streamers. I know I've said this numerous times before, but now all the pieces of machinery are in place to make that happen. I could have a one-on-one stream with IRI where I just talk with him about politics because I have somebody else who I can have help give me a bunch of articles. And then on one day, I just read all the articles. I don't have to do the research. I just have to do the reading, right? Like, hey, what were the stories this week in politics? What's something that IRI has covered? Find me something that is a good in-between here, and find me something where like people on Reddit have been talking about it incorrectly or whatever. Give me all of that as reading material and watching material in a packet. And then I just know that 3 to 4 hours of reading and watching IRI, and then I can have a conversation with them. Same with counterpoints. Let's find some good counterpoints debates recently, pick some good topics from that, give me some articles so I can be somewhat educated on the topic, put all that in a package for me. I read that, schedule it all with him, and then we'll have that stream date set. And I just don't care if I make money on those streams, right? Like, I will spend money to make them happen because I think collabs with other people are good for the channel. And I think it would be cool to just talk with more people. It would make this job a little bit more enjoyable. So, just all the ways that I look at stream and that I have things set up is very different. What management books did you read? I don't fucking know, dude. Random shit. Like, anytime that people had textbooks and stuff for the management courses that I worked on, I would just read ahead and behind in the textbook and look at interesting things. I think that like case studies were more interesting to me than anything on like management theory in particular, because in management theory in particular, it seems to me that there are ages or like eras where we just pick one kind of like management style or leadership style and we say that that one's really good, and then we focus a lot on that. So like, for instance, recently, transformational leadership style has been like the big thing that people want to focus on and want to emulate. And so a lot of just like recent research is all about like being a transformational leader and what does that mean. And like, honestly, you read one single like overarching explanation of it and you have most of it down. And then case studies and stuff are like fleshing it out, in my opinion, more than the text that you would read about it would. And so that's my opinion there. Hey, Booksmarts, no idea what sickness you got, but I hope you're feeling 1,000 times more OP than before. Little bit. A lot of streamers and YouTubers even get caught up in only doing the most profitable thing and then end up burning out. Sure. Not so far the case for me. If I focused on viewers, I would burn out a lot quicker. Like, that may be a difference between YouTubers and streamers and me, is when I transitioned to just focusing on like, there is some amount of compensation that I need and there's a goal that I have in mind that I want to hit so that I have a normal life. That's much more compelling to me than viewers. The viewers thing is so much less controllable. It hurts so many people's mental, and it hurts my mental, and I just don't see that as a better metric. Like, you can find YouTubers or streamers that focused on only money and burnt out. I think you could find even more that focused on only viewers and got burnt out, or focused on their Twitter followers and got burnt out, or focused on commentary and critique and got burnt out, right? Like, I think you could pick people that touched any of these spots on the wall and got electrocuted and died and say, that spot, definitely don't touch it. But it's like, I don't know if it's because there's like bare wire exposed underneath the wall, or because like I don't know what the reason is. Like everybody touches different parts and gets shocked. Like if we said that every part of the wall that somebody touched and got shocked is definitely where you shouldn't be touching, then I would pay attention to nothing, and I can't do that. Like the one thing that I can't do yet is do this job simply doing it the way that I want to do it. A lot of the people that I see that I personally think are failing at this are failing because they're only doing what they want to do. And they don't care what the viewers want. They don't care about compensation. They don't care about a lot of other things. And then one day they wake up and realize that, like, oh, I don't want to do this and I have no reason to do this, so I'm not doing this anymore. And I don't want everything to just be on my motivation to do the work, because my motivation to do the work ebbs and fades every single month. And this is something where it's a marathon, not a sprint, in my opinion. So I don't think it's like a recipe for success to do it that way. It is for some people, but that's because what they wanted to do and what they want to create is in line with what a bunch of people want. I'm not lucky enough to have that. The kind of content that I would like to create is not content that is commercially successful. So I have put beside that idea as quickly as I put it aside when I was doing essay writing. There's what you want to do, but that needs to be balanced with what is commercially viable. And I'm okay with just doing what's commercially viable. That's totally fine by me, because I can have fun within the prompt. And that's something that I learned when doing essay writing. You have a prompt and you can have fun within the prompt. And right now I'm having fun within the prompt, right? Okay, you are a debate review streamer. How can you have fun within the debate review streamer, like, content? Like, oh, okay, well, there are things I want to talk about that other people don't. Or there are patterns I want to point people's attention to. I hope that a streamer watches it maybe and sees problems here. I hope that a viewer of them sees it and sees that there's problems. I hope that we can hold our creators that we like a little bit more accountable when they do things we don't like. I like to be able to put an intellectual spin and an explanation that's worded really well to a feeling that viewers might have about a bit of content but have worded poorly, right? So these are the things that I get joy out of, that I can do within the prompt of having to create the debate review thing. Likewise, I was talking with Mr. Geek, and as I build out more of the infrastructure around scheduling and more of the infrastructure around having streamer contacts, I would like to do small panels with maybe 3 to 4 people where we just talk about a very specific thing. And I don't really care if that's super commercially viable. This is one of those, like, I'm going to put it out there and I think eventually people might like it. It might be a good alternative to Hippy Dippy or a Prime Kai panel. We just don't have a lot of good panels in this space anymore. And I think that there's room for competitors. And I don't even know if we would compete. I really think that if different people watched my panels because I do something that Hippy Dippy's not doing, then they may also consider watching Hippy Dippy. And likewise, people that watch Hippy Dippy may consider watching mine because they understand what a panel is, right? So I think that that's like the rising tide helping all the boats. And I think we need more boats in that harbor. So that's something that I would like to do. Like, for instance, how about we have a panel talking about Kyle Rittenhouse that doesn't have a bunch of fucking randos that shouldn't be there, frankly? How about we not have the phony gun experts and Second Amendment people in there because they don't help the conversation? How about we not have the super duper lefterly people that have super negative opinions about the dude and his even being there because they don't help the conversation? How about we have a panel with all legal-minded people? How about we have Bastiat, Pisco, I think Appelez? How about we have lawyers on a panel and the lawyers talk about that? That would be interesting to me. How about when we talk about policy, when we talk about like Joe Biden's infrastructure bill, we have I'm Really Important. We have people like Steven or others that choose to read about the stuff and become educated on it. How about we have a panel where that's a requirement before coming on? How about prior, I schedule a conversation with you where I, A, make sure that you can show up on the day and time that we've set it for, and B, have done your homework, that I can ask you basic questions about this and you don't give me some crazy fucking answers that demonstrate a complete ignorance on the topic, right? How about we have panels like that, you know? Like, it's not going to be focused around a ton of argument or flair or fireworks, but I don't know if that's always what people want. I think if we always wanted like the strongest booze and whatever, then nobody would drink wine, right? Like there are people that drink wine. There are people that drink beer. Alcohol is about more than just getting intoxicated off of the smallest volume of thing possible, right? Or it's the reason why we don't all just eat cake and ice cream all the time, right? There's a variety of flavors that you can have that you can enjoy, and that's something that I would want to introduce more to the space. It's what I did with React stuff as well. Maybe we just don't always want over the top reactions to stuff, or maybe we want a bit more substance there. And we want substance not by way of like examining every single like individual argument and how the logic comes together or whatever. Maybe we would be more interested in how these arguments are being interpreted, or how the people in the conversation are interpreting them. How are their emotions factoring in here, right? More humanistic elements of conversation. That's what we did for that. And I think at this point we have it nailed. So I'd like to do the same thing with interviews or with panel discussions. And that's something I would like to work on, right? So I'm going to catch up with the chat a little bit here. I know I've been ranting. I messed that message up. I'm going to try again. No worries. You should move to Spokane, Washington for the winter, save up cash, and move back to Cali. Spokane is definitely cheap. I just don't know if I can move there temporarily, because that's really the problem there. Dude, Prime Kai's panels are abysmal. I can't believe he didn't kick that lady out after what she said to Viv. He is useless as a mod. Interesting. That's an opinion. I will not react to it. Would you be an anonymous streamer if you could? No. Because remember, compensation. This has to make financial sense to me for me to continue to do it. Everything I invest my time and energy into my life has to be financially viable, because I need to be able to survive, and that's very, very important to me. It should be important to everybody, but I feel like it's worth saying that. If it's not financially viable, I really shouldn't be doing it until I have a whole, set of investments and stuff that can take care of me for life. Then at that point, yeah, we'll do whatever, right? But like right now, I need to make money so that I can like live. I need to not be month to month. I need to be in a house. I would like to have a dog. I would like to have like a secure like emergency fund and investments and whatever. And until we hit that point, I just don't know if I can consider a bunch of projects that are going to work like that. And remember, the flywheel in my brain, the way that my brain works, I like to put a lot of time, energy, and effort into spinning up that wheel, and then clock it when it's fastest to put in the most valuable kind of work that I can. So I like to spend all of my time for a day or two ingesting and living in a debate before I go live, because then I'm at peak performance and I understand it the best that I possibly could. And then after I deliver the content that I need to, then we hit the brakes on that wheel, slow it down as we process the critique about it, and then we move on, right? So that's how my brain works. I don't want to divide that energy between all these different disparate tasks that are not going to help me live life. So that's the problem there. Oh God, yes, the extra perspective on Destiny's content and the debate content overall was so refreshing when I first heard you. And I hope that's why you keep sticking around, You sure write a lot of essays. I did. Are you secretly essay writer? No. That guy's a bit of a memer. Money is a nice, smart goal. Yeah. Is a more open picture of your economic status when it comes to if streaming is sustainable for you beneficial? Sorry, let me try to parse this. Is a more open picture of your economic status when it comes to streaming is sustainable? I don't understand what you're asking. I'm so sorry. Hey, Booksmarts, I really enjoy your debate commentary. And one thing I'm working on that you're going to see me doing is I meditated, and I think I need to ignore and move past comments a lot quicker. So if you see me give up really quick, it's so that I don't lose momentum on comments that I don't understand or I think will upset me. I'm changing with how I'm digesting your guys' comments from now on. If I don't think I could have a good response, I don't understand it, it goes into a tangent I don't want to go on, I'm just going to move past them. Hey, Booksmarts, I really enjoy your debate commentaries. Hope Bookrest treats you well. Good health to you, man. Thanks. And thank you to the Bearded Bastard for $7.94. Thank you.
Some money towards a dog.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I think hyper focusing on anything can burn you out. Balance. Sure. I think that is a function of time, though. Burnout is going to be a function of time. That's why having those periods of rest where you're not working on the thing are important. And that's why the off-stream work is something that needs breaks, because it has no breaks. I'm constantly thinking about all the off-stream things that I need to do. That's a very concrete lifeline. It's why people get trapped in jobs. Sure, for sure. But because they focus on the job, they don't focus on the money, right? Like, if you focus on your life and you focus on your job, that's not what you want to do. You want to focus on the life. You want to focus on the money, because money, you think, I need money. It goes to job sometimes. But when life is telling you that the job is not going well and you go back to look at money, you realize that there is a step between money and job, that other things could fill that place of money, other kinds of jobs, other balances, right? So yeah, that's how people get trapped in jobs. But I think people focus on jobs as like the only opportunity that they have. Thank you. But I think focusing on money is probably more important than focusing on the job. The course material for my organizational theory course would start each chapter with a case study. Yes. It's nice. It was a really nice way of relating the theory to the reality. That's one of the best things about MBAs that I like, is the use of case studies frequently. Because I just think they're far more helpful than like just a page of text about an idea. Booksmart, and that's also why I appreciate a lot of psychology, or at least behavioral psychology, is because, again, we have a lot of case studies, at least in my reading, that you go to when you're trying to understand why we believe what we believe about the human brain. Booksmart's question: one space or two between sentences? One, depending on your style guide, you may have to do two. I don't think that we need two. I think two is a bit silly. Hey, chat, just got here. Was shenanigans called on the stream title? No, you can just rewind, though. Hey, Booksmarts, no idea what sickness you got, but I hope you're okay. Yes, I read that. Okay, I think I'm all caught up. Let me get back down to the bottom here. Speed, intensity, momentum. Yes, just like Dr. Disrespect once. Love you, bro. Love you too, Morton. I think he's asking if you'll keep an open financial status once you make it to 10K Andy status and own a mansion in West Hollywood. I don't know what you mean by this open financial status, though. That's where I'm like, can we word this a different way? Destiny recently cited you in an interview as being a voice in his head to be more rhetorically effective. He cited me in an interview. Ooh, do you have a link to it? That'd be nice to hear. That's definitely a pick-me-up. I think he mentioned that a long time ago when he said book fucker. That's where that clip comes from. That's secretly what I think of when I hear book fucker. That's why I don't mind when people call me book fucker. Here's a look into the mind of book smarts. And this may be parasocial or whatever. You can make fun of me for it. When I hear book fucker, remember that the context of that clip is him saying, I like to imagine that book fucker is like listening and like trying to find this. So when I hear book fucker, it doesn't upset me, because when I think about it, I think of like a wholesome thought. So when people call me book fucker, it does nothing but like make me smile. I like it as a meme because it has like a fairly wholesome moment attached to it, at least in my mind. Destiny said you were his inspiration for selling NFTs. Nice. I hope he made money from that. It was great to hear him give you credit. Aw, yeah, that's good. It's asking how close you are to meeting your monthly budget. Oh, I still have no idea what you guys are asking. I'm so sorry. Can you just like word it in an easy way? He also said you're one of the few people he likes enough that he wouldn't be annoyed if you used his website code after someone told you you were getting a custom site. Aw. That's nice. One thing I always think about is I know that he doesn't trust a lot of people in the space, but I always secretly hope like he knows that like I'm probably somebody who actually cares about him doing better and stuff. Like I get the feeling that he knows that that's what I'm in it for. I can only ever say that and just hope he believes me, but I really hope that he does. Like I just want to see better conversations out of people. That's really what I want. Like That's all that I want when I'm giving these reviews and stuff. I just want people to improve. And that hasn't changed, right? Like, I do the stream so that I can make money, but ultimately, like, in terms of an effect on the creator, all I hope is that they improve, right? I honestly hope that BX Bullet watches a review like that and realizes that there's a problem in her approach to conversations, especially when she believes she's right. I really hope, and this is proven to be the case, that Steven sees where these rhetorical faults that he's committing to are not helping him and are alienating certain parts of the audience or leading to criticism that doesn't need to be there, right? Like, I hope that the SERPs, like, honestly considers that he needs to be better at listening and listens to people and incorporates what they're saying into what he's saying, or tries to internalize more of the points from the research that he's conducting and not rely on his bullet points so much during a debate or during a conversation, right? Like, these are changes I honestly hope for in these people. And like, if there's any reason that or impact I want to have with the reviews on the streamers, that's what it is, right? And that applies to Steven as much as it does anybody else. I honestly hope that Lauren Southern starts to do better during her research phase and isn't as biased when she's reading research, because I think it's going to benefit her. It's going to benefit the community as a whole. And hey, leftists, I think it's going to benefit you guys, because I think she's going to be less radical if, when she's reading sources, she's not just looking to kind of approve all these ideas that she has in her head that you vehemently disagree with. I think it would be better if we all put fire under her ass to be a better researcher, because by being a better researcher, by conducting less biased research, she's probably going to come up with takes that are more worldly, that are more encompassing of what's actually going on. And if she can word better why she believes in some of the ideas that she believes in a way that isn't super biased and whatever, and she can point to sources that are getting better at the heart of why she believes what she believes, even though she took into account everything that's there, then we could engage with her a little bit better, right? So I honestly hope that everybody makes the changes that I prescribe in the talks. Destiny might love you. Oh, well, that's cute. He certainly didn't hang out with me a lot when we were in California. Oh, yeah. He also said, okay, I already read that one. That's not parasocial. That's just being happy that someone you respect respects you back. Yeah, that was a huge part of it. You could ask, like, my parents and stuff, too. Like, they know who Destiny is because I talked about Destiny a lot when I first started doing this stuff. I was like, yeah, this debate guy who I had a lot of respect for, Destiny, Steven, like, we're going to go to a Trump rally today. And I'm like super excited because I get to hang out with him. Or when I flew to Georgia, I was like, that Destiny guy is doing like real life political stuff. We're going to go and try and have one of the biggest canvassing events in Georgia and go try to influence this election and get these people into power, because it's going to mean a change in politics. It's going to be more broad and beneficial for the Democrats. And I think it's cool that he's mobilizing his community. And I want to be one of the streamers that he can look back on and say, like, they supported me in doing that. They actually showed up for the thing. They actually cared about that kind of involvement. Like, I know if I become a part of it, I may convince even one more person to become a part of it. Like, and that's what I can do with what minimal influence I have, right? Like, maybe if so-and-so hears that I'm going, they may be more inclined to go. I heard that Big Boss Bose, part of her determining that she was going to go was because myself and IRI were going. And it's like, well, then that makes it worth it. I heard that one of my viewers decided to go because I was there, right? And I met some people who knew who I was, and that was interesting and strange. And yeah, I really just want to support the dude. That's where I'm at with it. One of the things I kind of wanted to look at today were the DGG awards. I don't think I'll be getting anything from that, but it would be interesting to see who's on there and get like a recap of the year in the Destiny orbit. So that might be cool to look at a little bit later. So yeah, cool to hear all these positive things. Could showing how close you are to meeting your budget help you meet the budget from streaming? Maybe, But the problem is, I'm not sure how close that budget is. I have an idea of what it is, and I would feel really bad if I said like, "Hey, I really want to hit $6,000 per month," and like I showed you guys that, and then we hit it, and I'm like, "Oh, turns out having a dog is more expensive than I thought. I actually need to get to this number." I don't want that. And the other problem is that my income is very diversified because I've been very smart about this business. We get memberships, we get supers, which YouTube people really appreciate those supers. YouTube is taking 33% somewhere in that equation, but there's nothing I could do about it. But yeah, the supers are good. The tips that I get, the commissioned work, right? Like there's stuff you guys see and there's stuff you guys don't see. And so it's not very transparent to say that I need this amount and to have like subs and donos and whatever contribute to that amount, because it's not really indicative of the full picture. Patreon, right? There's a lot of other places that money comes from. And so that's another reason why that's not, I wouldn't feel super comfortable doing that. Destiny has absolutely changed over the past year plus. I'm happy about that for sure. Do you think Destiny is overusing psych terms to insult people? A little bit. He literally uses the word psychotic, schizo, etc. like every sentence now. If he's arguing with someone, lol, I think it looks pretty dumb. Sure, but it looked dumb when he called people subhuman or degenerate or whatever, like he's always going to he's going to see where the line is with what you guys are going to accept, and he's going to push it a little bit more. So he has a curse that's going to be something that's impactful. And then because his whole brand is this logic guy thing, he's probably also going to like try and ground it in some logical explanation behind why he's picking that. Well, it's literally crazy. I don't know how you could believe in these things. It's literally psychotic. Like psychosis is when you believe something that's not there and blah, blah, blah. I think they're literally degenerate. I think they're literally subhuman, because how could a human believe in this? There's always some kind of reasoning behind it. Schizo, I don't know. There's been an evolution in those curse terms, and this is another step in that evolution. But it's always going to be a step further than you guys will accept. And I've just seen that happen so much over the last few years. I just think that's the way that works. So you're never going to be happy with it. But that's the nature of the thing. That's the point. It's meant to be a curse. It's meant to be something that you guys don't like, right? And it'll always be looking at where that line is and going a step past it. But I think we've come a long way. I'm late, and in interest of no rewinding the clock, what are we talking about? Ignoring. Especially since you lose the other person's audience completely if you basically start diagnosing them mid-debate. Sure, yeah, you could argue that. Booksmarts, if you have time, check out the Counterpoints discussion on Kyle Rittenhouse. I watched half of it. That's all I'll say. I watched half of it. Then I kind of tuned out. Rhetorically interesting dynamics. It's always interesting to see Counterpoints talk, but Counterpoints was making some points that I don't necessarily agree with, and it made it hard for me to totally get invested. Maybe we'll do a review of it. I don't know. We have another Destiny review prepped right now, so kind of outside of my mind at the moment. I don't know if it's me or the stream is dying. I hope not. This is so wholesome. I'm crying at the club right now. Nice. You're basically talking about sub goals, aren't you? And dono goals. Yeah, I just don't know if that stuff is super true because my income's super diverse. Do you think the engagement required by streams to their respective chats is overstimulating on average? Just seems super stressful to be that engaging as a career. Maybe for other people. I think it's the time. Like every time that I spend time like this talking with you, I know that the chat keeps going and going and going. That's the stressful part to me. I don't know if jumping between these different points constantly is super stressful though. Especially if I'm able to take time to breathe and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's not for me. I could see how it is for other people. Why don't you invest in a hot tub? We'll solve all budget problems because I move around a lot. Set the dono goal or sub goal to whatever it is, but always plus 50 subs or something. Not hitting the goals also feels particularly bad. They escalate so quickly in this debates, and of course that's the selling point. Yeah, not for me though. For Xmas, you could give Destiny a list of the edgiest insults that you can get away with. You're literally being psychotic right now. I'm sorry. It's like when you learn a new word and then suddenly start seeing it everywhere. Interesting. It gets real spicy when Pisco comes on. I didn't make it that far. Stream looks fine to me. Okay, good to know. It might just be YouTube people then. Cool. So a few different things here. Maybe we should talk about Kyle Rittenhouse a little bit. Actually, here's what I'll do. Scary title. Did I miss something? Yeah, you did. Go rewind the VOD. The Hounding. Thank you for the tier 1. You can subscribe to the channel too and support it. If you have Twitch Prime, that's how I would recommend doing it, because you can connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, get a free sub every single month, drop it for your boy Booksmarts here. Go ahead and check if you haven't used your Amazon Prime sub for the month, and feel free to give that to me. If you click the sub right underneath the video, that little star button, it should give you the option to use your Amazon Prime if you still have it. I would super duper appreciate that. Alternatively, you can spend $4.99 to sub. We have sub badges now done by Sleepy Witch, whose information you can get by doing !sleepy in the chat. Yeah, so now you guys have sub badges, and now you have something to show for how long you've been subbed, which is a nice addition to the channel. I very much appreciate Sleepy for working with me on that. Yeah. Let's see here. We have a few options. I'm going to give you guys options. Option number 1 is going to be Kyle Rittenhouse. Option number 2 is going to be the DGG Awards. And option number 3 is going to be Demon Mama. So
Badge Mule.
Yeah. So number 1, DGG Awards. Or no, wait. What order are we doing this in? Hold on. I'm going to redo the numbers. Don't type numbers yet. Number 1 is DGG Awards. Number 2 is Kyle Rittenhouse. Number 3 is Dima Mama. Okay? And I will count in a little bit. I will count in the chat. So put it in the chat. Number 1 is DGG Awards. Number 2 is Kyle Rittenhouse. Number 3 is Dima Mama. Let's let those roll in here. Let's let them roll in. I cannot wait until the booksmarts.gg website is done. And then I can have very, very easy polls that I can do, even easier than on Twitch. And I can let you guys pay money to influence the vote even more. I just came back after a while. If I recall correctly, you said you wanted to update your title. It's still the same thing, though. I don't want to yet. Nope. We have not hit that. It'll depend on what we choose here. So mods can do polls. They certainly can, but they are not right now. So don't tempt my mods. Don't tempt my mod. Don't start shouting orders from the back line, or people will get confused and we will break rank. Wow, a lot of YouTube votes there. I think there may be some YouTube voter fraud here. This probably would have been smarter to do as a poll. I'll be quite honest with you. All right. I think it's between 1 and 2, because 3, I'm not seeing a lot of 3s here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to count on my hands here. So, good God. 1 on this hand. Okay. 2. I'm going to do tick marks on the thing. Holy shit. Liar. There's a lot of 3s. No. I don't see a lot of 3s. I don't see a lot of 3s. I don't know what you're talking about. What you talking about, Willis? I don't see any 3s in here. I don't see any 3s. I think you're about to lose some social credit, my friend. I think you're about to lose some social credit, because I don't see any 3s. Bing chilling. Fine, I'll count the 3s as well. Okay, you're right. There are some 3s. There are some 3s. There are definitely some 3s. Oh my God, this is gonna take me forever. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Your vote is invalid if it's not one of these 2 numbers. So congratulations, dumb fucks. This was a bad idea.
Here's a little something to avoid #3.
Thanks, Sleepy Keys. I appreciate it. That's going to count against you, 3s. I think that knocks 3 off of the options chart right there. That's $10. Look at all these poor suckers wasting their votes on 3. Oh no. YouTube audience is going in for that 3. Oh no. Oh no, YouTube audience. Oh no. Man, it is neck and neck. It's neck and neck. I think one won it. I think one won it. All right. The votes are done. The votes are done. Okay. The votes are done. Somebody donated 1,000 bits.
3 PLS.
Nice. Thank you. Somebody donated 1,000 bits. I don't know what they hope to accomplish with that. Bits don't make noise on this stream, unfortunately, because they're broken. I don't know how to make them work, unfortunately. Take that up with Streamlabs. If anybody can help me make bits work on Streamlabs, I would really appreciate it, but they don't work. So whatever you said with those 1,000 bits, go ahead and repeat it in the chat, AC, because I have no idea. It doesn't tell me. Even when I look at my Twitch stats thing, it doesn't tell me what you used to cheer. Oh, you said vote for 2. A vote for 2. Ah, okay. A vote for 2. Well, that's certainly impacting the vote here, ladies and gentlemen. So 3 has been robbed from you, and 2 has gotten an extra vote. Good God. There's a lot of election meddling going on here. I'm hearing from my lobbyists. Oh, that's right. Oh, I didn't know that there was an environmental impact of this bill. That's certainly important. Yeah. Okay. And you're wiring over 10,000 bits? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I could do something about that. I would hate to hurt the environment. Ooh, what's that? Team Mama did what? Goodness gracious. No, that's simply unacceptable. We cannot have that as a part of this bill, actually. Yes, I agree. I'll talk to my colleagues about that. I'll get that part out. I don't want to make your job any harder in that industry. I'm getting lots and lots of lobbyist calls today. Why doesn't Book just use the premise, the DGG shit? Because I don't want to. Plus, I think we need an alternative for people. This will probably be an open source project that any other streamer could use by the end of it. So it'll be an alternative to DGG, a more updated thing. Hopefully will be more efficient. Hopefully will not have the problems that the current DGG has with embeds and stuff. It'll have a different UI for moderation and backend stuff. We're going to make it publicly available. That's the plan, at least right now. So you guys, if you're a streamer, you'll have an alternative to that, right? So that's part of the idea. I'm gonna call Veritas. This is rigged. Yep, because if anybody can figure out if something's rigged, it's definitely Veritas. Let's get Booksmart to San Diego. I would love to live in San Diego. That would be fine by me. No one cares about Demon Mama. She's a dummy. Well, somebody cared enough to vote against it, to do a lobbying call against it. You will regret this. Like Destiny, you will have a storm of people you hate using your system. Oh, well. My ego's not wrapped up in this the way that his ego's wrapped up in his thing, though, right? Like, I don't know. Like... It's whatever, dude. Please charge people a monthly fee to use your site. I don't know, bro. Maybe future iterations that get like updates and stuff to them, but the first version, why not? I don't see why not. Rent is so expensive here in San Diego right now. Not as expensive as Orange County. All right. I think 2 won it. I think we have to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse. All right. We're going to be talking about Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm going to change my title, which I can unfortunately only do on Twitch. So bear with me, YouTube people. This will not change on YouTube. It will only change on Twitch. Talking about Kyle Rittenhouse. Dum dum dum. Dum, dum, dum. It'll be fun. All right. Yeah. So he was a white supremacist. What is there to talk about? Book smarts. Come on. The fucking white supremacist. He went to a fucking black people rally, shot a bunch of white folks trying to defend property in another fucking state. What's the fucking problem here? He was 17 years old, not even old enough to have the fucking gun. He talked about one that killed people before. He's a fucking white supremacist doing this fucking shit in photographs. Not having any of it. Not having any of it. No fucking self-defense. He shouldn't have been there. There was no excuse. I hear you. I believe me. I know you put a troll face, but I know that side of the narrative very, very well. I've been keeping up on it. Have you seen that really productive debate between Rose Wrist and DM? It's 3 hours long. I could not endure it. I'm so sorry. If other people get a shit on me for my fucking multiple hour long shits and they don't listen to it, I have no fucking qualms with saying it was 3 hours. You didn't fucking edit it. I have no interest in listening to it. I'm so sorry. It's super boring. And it's about a topic that's fucking lame. It's so fucking lame. I cannot believe that we are still talking about the school shit. Even Dima Mama doesn't want to keep talking about the school shit. I cannot handle that. I'm not listening to that, dude. Half of it's a fucking interview. The other half is a train wreck. I'm just not interested, dude. I'm really just not interested. I tried. I honestly gave it a shot. Book, maybe I'm being too emotional, but don't you think seeing people using your site and absolutely shitting on you while using your site will get to you? I don't care. I don't care about this. You don't want to know why? Because we're not supposed to talk about this. We're supposed to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse. So, chat, hold yourselves accountable. No more discussion of anything else. Right now, we're talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, okay? There will come a time 15 to 30 minutes from now where you can talk about whatever the fuck you want. Okay? Right now, it's all Rittenhouse. Do you think Rittenhouse will be convicted on the charge of playing Call of Duty? No offense. I think he's guilty. I think he's done it. I think he literally admitted to it, dude. I think he literally admitted to it. So, yeah. Why would that chatter ask that? I don't know, bro. I don't really care. I don't dive into the mentality of these chatters. Rose Raid. Wow, look, we got a Rose Raid from Rose Wrist. They were just asking about you. So, all right. I guess I'll have to talk about that real quick. I was just about to hop into this Kyle Rittenhouse thing. So if you guys are interested in hearing a normie's take on that, who has not talked about it before, somebody who I would like to think has even keel opinions on things, stick around. I'll talk about your Rose Wrist thing right now, though. I watched some of your discussion with Dima Mama. I was duped. You duped me. You really did, Rose Wrist. You want to know why? Because I sat there for, I shit you not, almost an hour before I realized, looking at the comments, that the first half you treated like an interview, and only in the last half did you really confront Dima Mama on anything. So, after realizing that I had wasted that much time on the interview portion, I then proceeded to skip to the moment where things changed, because there was a timestamp given by somebody in the comments section somewhere, or rather, I don't know if it was on Reddit or the YouTube thing itself. But then I skipped to that. And then, like most of these conversations where people are trying to argue with Dima Mama, I was a little bit disappointed. Not you, mind you. Not really. Because you try to conduct yourself fairly well, right? You do start to fall for things, though. You do fall into like little traps, right? And she lays these out for you, right? Dima Mama and has a strategy similar to what Destiny did a lot more. I don't know if he still does this now, where the analogy I like to use is that he is somebody with iron lungs. And I'm not talking about he's disabled. He's got like really crazy strong lungs. and he can hold his breath for a long, long time and handle pressure and whatever. So what he does is he grabs you and he jumps into a pool with you, and you sink and you sink and you sink. And it's this big diving pool, and we hit 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters. We're feeling the pressure. He just drags you down, and he's unfazed by the pressure or the length of time underwater. So he's just waiting until you finally hit that moment where you crack and you need to go back up to the surface, and you start fucking flailing and you go crazy, right? There's this emotional kind of like struggle that they both try to put you into, where they will put constant pressure on you, and they will increase the tension of a situation, and they will poke at you, and they'll fuck with you until you finally snap. And by the time you snap, because they're so much better at operating in this kind of environment, they're going to try to take advantage of that as an environmental benefit to them as much as possible. So they're constantly like fucking with you, and they're trying to tickle you and get you to spit up all the air that you have, right? Because if they can just get you to start drowning and freaking out, then they're going to get points off of you for that, right? Like she says shit to you like, come on, is that like really a good faith way of doing, but the reason why she's able to ask you if something like one of the questions you posed where you gave an either or, where the either is something that's not really good at all, right? It's not necessarily a very good version of her position. And the or is something that's obviously good, right? You set her up with this so then she can comment on it. And then she says, are you getting frustrated because of that, right? She's going to put, oh, look at that. You get a little blue in the face. Are you struggling? Are we very, very deep? Are you running out of oxygen there, right? Like, she knows what's going on with the pressure she's putting on in a conversation. And the second she sees that you're kind of giving into that pressure, she's going to capitalize on that. And when I started to see that she was winning on capitalizing on that from you, I kind of wanted to stop. So at that point, I was kind of wanting to stop, but then you recomposed yourself. You kept going on. I think at another point, you tried to talk. You try to like stop an interruption or comment on how long it was that she was talking, that you were trying to get a word in. And she hates that shit because it's a trigger for her, right? Because everybody says as a common criticism of her that she refuses to address that she is way too long-winded. And she's like, no, this is my fucking stream. If you want to get a word in, yeah, put your chest out and speak with your chest or something. Like, okay, well, there's two ways we can take this. We can either realize that she just gulped up a bunch of air because she's struggling under the pressure of this depth as well and capitalize on that, or we could get fucked up by that and get thrown off of our groove and let our ears plug in and similarly start to fuck up and lose it. Or we can try to collect ourselves and move past it. You chose to collect yourself and move past it. That's like a neutral decision. I think, though, when playing at Dima Mama's game, what would be better is to capitalize on that a little bit more. When you realize that you're frustrating her a little bit and she is playing this game of trying to frustrate you the entire time, I've turned around my idea on constantly being super good faith with these individuals because they're playing a different game than you. It's like you both have different rules you've set out before you for having the conversation, and you have to be firm and resolute in whatever it is that you choose to do. You can't let them walk over you. And you let her walk over you at a couple of points there. And then like seeing how that stunned you for a bit, and then you like tried to jump in and whatever, that's not helping you because that's not how you have conversations. You're able to stay cool and calm and collected because you do this patient thing of waiting turns and listening and whatever. You are not, from what I've seen of you, super well equipped for this yelly whatever thing. And you said as much in your follow-up to the conversation that this isn't normally how I have conversations. But you can't take half measures with this kind of thing, I don't think. And I think that it doesn't work out well to do like, to just try and collect yourself and then try and speak more, because like all it's going to do is it's going to put more pressure on you to like try and interject more and try to speak quickly. And the quicker and quicker you're speaking, the more and more you're losing air and the deeper and deeper we're sinking. And like, I had to stop watching at some point because I didn't feel like that was working necessarily, but it could have worked out very differently. It's just like when I see that she starts to play this game with people and I'm not super like I don't have like a lot of faith in the person's approach that they're taking, I just stop watching. Like when I was watching, what's a good example of somebody handling this really, really well? Because it's not Steven. When I was watching the Scrub King handle it, I really wanted to keep watching because Scrub King was doing such a good job because Scrub King was flustering her. And that's really where I think you have to win. If she's going to put all this pressure on the conversation, she is hurt just as much by getting flustered as you are. And same with Steven, which he learned in the Demon Mama conversation, is if Demon Mama can fluster Steven and they're both diving down in this pool, he's impacted just as much by losing oxygen as she is. And in that environment, if he starts to get heated, he starts to come off as an asshole and perform worse as well, whether his audience chooses to see that or not, right? And so like, that's something that he has to do. Now, when he's talking with Vosh, who does a similar thing with him, trying to piss him off, he stays cool. He cuts through what they're saying. He has a Scrub King approach to what's going on. But when he's talking with Demon Mama, he's just trying to go tit for tat with her and just hope that one of them will have to rise to the surface before the other one. He doesn't mind losing air or wasting energy on those kinds of movements. I hope all this is making sense. So, that's going to be my TLDR on that. Thank you, Hans, for rating the channel. Good to see you, buddy. I'd be interested with talking with you about your panels and your debate things that you're doing with people privately. So if you ever want to talk about that, you let me know. Because I'm thinking about getting into panels and hosting debates between people much more seriously than I've considered it in the past. And I think talking to other people who have done it and who have stopped doing it in particular would be helpful to learn about like why and what the challenges were. With you in particular, I think setting up your timing exactly coinciding with the hippy dippy thing was a bit of a silly thing that I think had something to do with it, because it's also something I'm seeing as a recurring pattern of the panels not continuing. Because what's his name? Haas did the same thing, and his shit didn't even fucking get aired. So I'd like to talk with you about that stuff. So that's all that. We had a raid from Rose Wrist, who I'd watched a little bit of a conversation with D-Mom about, so I just gave a bit on that. And I'm blue-balling my audience because I mean to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse a little bit. And I have not this entire time because I keep getting raids and then I get sidetracked. Shit, Hans have book smarts. Rip my dumb ass, Hans.
Love you, buddy. Gap of love.
Yeah, thanks. I'm so down, I'll shoot you a DM. Cool. Booksmart's not in the last debate. Vosh flustered Destiny this time. I didn't see whatever the hell you're talking about. He doesn't know? Oh, I don't know. Hans? I know Hans is Hans. I'm talking about Haas, dumb fuck. Haas is infrared. Hans is Hans. I know who Hans is. I'm very, 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 intent on this. He means Haas. Yes, I said Haas infrared. Fuck you guys. I hate you. You guys are pissing me off. Isn't Haas's thing not getting aired a bad thing, though? No comment. Recount the vote. None of these 150 new viewers had their voices heard. I don't think I want to recount that vote, dude. I don't think I want to recount that vote. Book is feeling the pressure as we bring him down with us. This is true. And to be clear, when I'm talking about how Destiny is handling Vosh, I mean in like more recent conversations and in the panel appearance that they had on Stardust. I thought that from what I saw of Destiny's performance, he did pretty well of not letting Vosh get under his skin with stuff. He starts to unravel towards the end, but I think at several points we see that he's handling that really, really well. If that was more consistent, I could 100% praise it. It wasn't 100% consistent, but I think that's a lot more progress than what we used to see even last year from Steven, right? So as I'm more familiar with Steven's content, I understand progress, and hearing from his fan base and what they say about me, I think that one legitimate criticism or a lot of criticisms they give me are kind of stemming back to one solution I have, which is to note the progress that he's made. So there's a lot of progress there. It's not perfect, but I think noting the progress is important. Hans is tall and wide. Haas is just wide. Easy to tell them apart. Bigger name equals bigger dude. I know how to tell them apart. Thank you. About the insomnia, I don't care. Do you mean before the drugs? I don't care. Books, genuine question. How do you deal with this kind of confrontational conversation in real life? I don't have them. I just make fun of the person. When someone is super serious about something, nothing takes the wind out of their sails more than not taking them seriously. That's how I'm an asshole. I'll be honest with you guys, chat. If you're going to be an asshole in real life, I love it. Because I'm an asshole. I could be an asshole too. You know, like if you're going to be super duper heated and a dick about like somebody else's beliefs about a certain thing. Oh, really? Yeah, well, we can't all believe in this wonderful thing that you believe in, right? Because I just meme on their position because they're super duper invested. And the one way to like hurt them or reprimand them for acting like an asshole is to belittle their position. And then they get super duper upset. I find that personally entertaining because I'm not convincing them out of it. We're not having a discussion that isn't wholly going to revolve around the points that they want to talk about. And any deviation from that, they're going to be an asshole about. So you know what? I'll make a deviation that is just going to make you flustered. I would rather you be flustered and upset than you be super angry at everybody and rude to them about things that they personally believe in. Then I'm just going to belittle your positions if you're going to belittle other people. That's what I do. That's what I do. So I don't have good advice about that. If it was somebody who I respected and stuff, I just steer clear of the conversation. I just move past it. Another thing is those kinds of people sometimes will be more enticed into a good conversation by you refusing to give them the conversation and just hinting at it, being a little passive in your kind of like approach to it. So if they're like, you know, I just think it's ridiculous that these Americans out here are voting for shit that's going to send us back to fucking CCP days and that they're really voting away their freedoms like some fucking sheep. Yeah, you know, if you think they're sheep, I guess there's not much, you know, to talk about there. I just think it's far more complicated than that. Oh, really? How is it more complicated than that? How else can you explain that this is happening and blah, blah, blah? Well, like I said, there's not. We can't really talk about it more if you're just going to oversimplify everything to sheep, but that's okay. I mean, we could talk about something else. Well, no, hold on a minute, mister, because I'm asking you, if you don't think they're sheep, then how the hell else are you going to explain behavior like that? It's so counterintuitive that I just don't understand. Well, if you wanted to understand it legitimately, then we could talk about it. But I just have a feeling like your mind's made up on that. You probably know more than I do about these people and whatever, and that's why you think so negatively of them. But I know a lot of these people myself and came to a completely different conclusion. So either we're hanging out with completely different versions of the people that believe in these ideas, or you're kind of bought into a narrative that there's no way I'm going to convince you out of. And like, you know, like you have to kind of point them towards where they're fucking stuck, or just do the opposite, which was the beginning of this conversation, which is like, don't engage, but tempt them to engage with it. And that's my approach. Seems condescending. So is what, like, you have to realize that your response to like negative people is not always going to be a super positive thing. If somebody is a complete dismissive asshole, I'm sorry, I'm going to hit them with condescension. I am. It's going to happen, right? I think it's wrong to be condescending to people who are coming at you in good faith and whatever, but to be condescending to ignorant people or to people that belittle other people or things like this, I find that it's totally justified and I'm fine with doing it. So that's what I do. You can choose to do whatever the hell you want to do. That's my approach in real life, is like, whatever, dude. I think it's warranted. I think, you know, like these things aren't bad in and of themselves. I don't think it's bad in and of itself to be condescending. I think it's bad to be condescending when you want to convince somebody about something. I'm not trying to convince you if you've proven to me that you can't be convinced. I'm not trying to convince you if you totally believe and are married to a position that I think is completely ignorant, and you're not really thinking it through, but you're also not willing to hear out the other side. Like, I'm not really meeting that with the same level of like rigor that I'm going to meet with somebody who's like, I believe this, but I'm willing to be proven otherwise. I mean, it could very well be that they believe in it because of this or this, but the way that I see it is they're giving up their rights and they're really becoming sheep because that they're doing that. And I wish that more people would just see it from this perspective, like, oh, okay, like then I can engage with them very differently. Then I can be like, well, to be fair to you, like, yeah, if you view it as like people giving up their freedoms and stuff, and you want to call them sheep or something, mean like that, I can get where you're coming from on that. I think that the way those people are looking at it, though, kind of like you were hinting at, is they probably believe that it's better for everybody if they gave up those rights, because maybe they see problems inherent in having rights for everybody around these things, and it's going to negatively impact society at large. So they're willing to make an individual sacrifice because collectively it's going to be good for everybody. And I think if you don't view that collective equation as very important, or don't take that into account, it's very easy to lose sight of why certain people make those trade-offs. And like then we can have a more nuanced conversation, but that's a two-way street. I have to see that they're willing to do that before I engage like that. You okay, dude? Is your mama okay, dude? I fucked her real hard last I bet you that's not even meant for me. We have cast our votes. Now give the people what we want. Okay, you're right. Have you heard Destiny's recent argument where he cites Vivian and Vosh just to cast the... Yeah, I've heard it. Pair character stretching his arm forward, raising his thumb up. Thanks, dude. Condescension in my book is okay when you've legitimately exhausted all your other arguments. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Kyle Rittenhouse. Let's talk about it. Okay. Where do I start? Normally, I just wait for the chat to tell me something about this. Here's what I'll say. Is that I'm happy to wait to talk about most of the details about who's wrong for what and whatever until when we get a court case. And now we have our court case and it's happening live and a bunch of people can listen into it. So I don't have a problem with people commenting on it. I'll say that up front. I'm happy that people are commenting on it during the court case. I think that's probably the time to do it and probably the time to start paying attention. I think it's cool that we get insight into that. I think it's disappointing to see how we meme, and by we, I mean folks of the lefterly persuasion, how we meme some of the arguments that are going on in the court. Some things probably okay, like the weird veteran thing that the judge did. Little bit cringe. I don't know if that's a normal thing, but it comes off as cringe, and it's okay to say it comes off as cringe. I'm of the Joe Rogan mindset. And by that, I mean, if something is weird, I think it's okay to just say that it's weird, because there are probably tons and tons of normal people that are out in the world, normies, that probably also would resonate with the statement, that's a bit weird. Whether or not people in the legal department think that it's normal or whatever, I think it's okay to call something weird if you think it's weird. Now, to be dismissive is something else. I don't think saying something is weird, like the veteran thing, is dismissive. But I've seen things that are dismissive of, for instance, the zooming in comments that the judge made. Like about fairies in the phone or something like this. Those comments aren't good. Making memes about like Kyle's face when he cries, a little bit edgy. I saw some that are like, this is the face he'll make when he gets raped in prison. Like, okay, that's not a good look, Chief. We all meme at different levels. If that's the way you want to meme, then okay. I wouldn't advocate for that. If my son or daughter was memeing like that, I would be like, okay, that's not a good look for you. Furthermore, if you believe Kyle's lying, you believe that Kyle was fake crying, I think that's more of like a private position, if I'm being honest with you. I think that should probably be a private position. I don't think that thinking that like somebody that went through trauma is fake crying in a court case is necessarily always like a negative thing. It's probably going to be something that comes across your mind even if you believe it, right? Like even if you were sympathetic to Kyle, I think that there's like a probability thing going in your head. And even if that probability is like less than 50-50, like some percentage of you maybe tells you that technically this could be fake because it's better for the defense or whatever. But I think that the overwhelming voice that needs to step in is like, that guy went through one hell of a night, right? And this, so obviously, were the people that died and the people that were shot. They also went through a hell of a night. If anybody involved in any of this, in the retelling of their stories, cries or has a breakdown or struggles to get it out, I would understand it. Remember, maybe it's just because I have like firsthand experience with this, right? Like I've shared on the stream before. I had a friend that I lost pretty tragically and traumatically in a motorcycle accident where we tried to resuscitate him for quite a while before medics ever arrived. It was a bloody and gnarly, thing that we had to do. The images, the sounds, everything from that day are going to stick with me till the day that I die. There are things that I see on television or when I'm riding a motorcycle that will trigger panic attacks and other things in me. I am forever impacted by that single day for the rest of my life, probably. So I understand how sometimes even retelling what seem like nothing burgers of details from that day could be things that start to make me tear up or cry or to fucking struggle to even say it. Like for a while after, I think for at least maybe a couple of years after it had happened, I struggled to even say some of the details without like starting to cry. And it wasn't until I worked on that more in therapy that I even could do that. Right. So even if you think that Kyle did an awful thing that day, even if you think that he was totally in the wrong, even if you think that this trial should find him guilty, I think that it's still reasonable to believe that him crying and him having that kind of breakdown, it's probably realistic. It's at least within the realm of possibility more than it is within the realm of like impossibility. So I think choosing to like call it out as fake and whatever and going the extra step to say that publicly on your platform under your brand name or whatever is really, really fucked up. And I would agree with Steven in that if these are people that are proponents for victims of abuse, victims of harassment, people that suffer from PTSD, they need to take a look in the mirror. I don't think that you write them off for forever because they made this mistake about this thing. I'm not like that. Steven and I differ in that way. I don't think you should never look to these people for when they say this stuff because they're bullshitting. No, they have a blind spot that they need to work on because somebody that they hated went through that thing and they're happy. They think they are okay with making jokes about it. They're okay with calling them liars, that they're over-exaggerate. They're okay with that shit because it's somebody they don't like. And that doesn't mean that they don't care about those people. It means that is something that they drop in their mind when they get into this kind of state where they're talking about somebody they hate or somebody they despise or somebody that their team doesn't like. And so that I think is like where we're kind of, that's where I think the flaw is. That's where I think they're fucking up. Thank you, Jesse. But we have so much of this fucking up from people that are otherwise, it seems like, pretty supportive of people with these problems or people that have been through shit. And it's very, very saddening to see them respond this way. And it's very saddening to see people who needed to wait for the trial to come out their way, to be very upset that the trial is not coming out their way and to lash out in all these different ways that they are, making memes or talking about how the judge is compromised and this and that, and he's totally biased against, like, imagine that you're this judge. You've been put in charge of a case that is going to be broadcasted across the entire nation and scrutinized with a fine-tooth comb by both sides. So maybe that's why you're doing things like commenting on the victim word, right? Like maybe that's why you're doing things like saying that we should applaud for the veteran. Maybe that's why you're doing things like that, because you're aware very acutely aware of this broader audience that's looking at all of the procedures that's going on right now, right?
What is this?
Maybe that's also why, like, you need to
Thanks for
comment.
being cool.
Thanks. I appreciate the sub, Angie. That's probably why you also have to comment on anything that's about this person exercising their Fifth Amendment rights, right? Like, dude, do you realize how many people are fucking watching this court case right now? You know better than to do this. You know better than to do that. I can't just let that shit slide, dude. Like, I need to hold it down in this court. Like, A, because of the way that the court works, and B, because the country is watching this. You can't do that shit, right? Like, and that's what's going on here. Maybe that's also why we need an expert to look at this, the tiny fucking details on this image that we're looking at, right? Because if that's a key enough part of the defense or of the prosecution's case, maybe it should be necessary that we bring on somebody who is going to, like, say that this is admissible, that this is good, that the zooming is working this way. Like, that's what experts are for. Like, but people's brains are not jumping to the conclusions that I see a lot on Destiny's analysis of this. The conclusions that I'm seeing on other channels, and I won't name them because I don't want to shit on you guys, but I've been disgusted. I've watched VODs of some of the lefty people covering this, and I've been absolutely disgusted. And if I went through enough cycles of this, I could see how people like Steven start to have this really fucking negative vision of these lefty communities, because it's like, if I keep seeing this every time that you guys are covering something and you're just that wrong about it and this kind of uppity about it and this kind of awful about it and this dismissive of the people involved in this, it just, that would wear on me at some point. I don't often watch these creators, but this has left a very gnarly taste in my mouth for even some people that I've never seen anything but their coverage of the Rittenhouse trial. And it's so interesting. And if you have the opportunity, I would highly recommend you do this. I also watched this stream, and I'm forgetting the name of it, but it was a board of lawyers that was watching the trial live and hearing their commentary on the trial and comparing that with what the lefties are saying. It's just so completely different. It's insane to me. So I've been very disappointed with the coverage of this Rittenhouse thing by a lot of lefty people in particular. Some righty people are making stupid fucking comments as well. Don't get me wrong. But it's been the lefty people that have just been egregious with their memes and with their coverage and with even the serious things that they're saying. So yeah, it's left a sour taste in my mouth for that side of the political aisle. It depresses me that Hassan is on the top of political politics. Whatever. Or Twitch politics, I'm sorry. I will say their name for him. The Surfs TV, Bad Bunny, Mike from PA. I won't lie to you. I watched the Surfs, I watched Mike from PA, and I've watched Bad Bunny. They're in that group. There are other smaller creators as well from that group. Like, it's just, it's sad to me. I will comment on Bad Bunny in particular because I don't really watch anything from Bad Bunny. I've watched stuff from Mike before. I've watched stuff from the Surfs before. I've never really seen anything from Bad Bunny. And some of her takes on this stuff have just been wild to me. She just says some shit off the dome that's like, Jesus Christ. Like, it has the same kind of punch as, like, sorry to my viewers at home, but like hearing the N-word and the F slur and stuff like yelled on Call of Duty chat, like it's almost the same kind of like off the dome awfulness that just kind of like, oh my God, like it makes me jump a little bit. Like, oh, okay, that just fucking happened. They just said that. That's nutty. Like the video will be playing and then just the interjection from her on some things is just like, oh my God. Okay. It takes me aback a little bit. There's a lot of streamers going through a mini lefty arc now. It's a popular thing to be. I just don't think if you're a lefty, you don't have to cover this stuff in the way that you're covering it. Like, I'll shout out Chud Logic. I think Chud Logic is a good example of like a lefty that doesn't feel the need to like jump in the fucking mass burial pit with all the other lefty content creators in a bad fucking idea or a bad fucking take on a popular topic. Like he goes, "Oh wait a minute, I believe in this Marxist shit, but I'm not jumping in there, mate. No, it's not for me. Like he looks at all the people jump in there like, come on, Chud, it's a lefty thing. Get in here. We're fucking shitting on the conservatives. Oh, no, I don't think I will. And I appreciate him for that because you really don't have to. Like, you can still be a lefty and not jump on to like the lefty bandwagon with a lot of these gnarly fucking takes, dude. Pac-Man didn't do a bad job. He stated his position clearly, but I think people wanted him to morally clear Rittenhouse's actions. And I don't think he has any need to do that. Whatever. Take with self-defense was justified, but Schmittenhouse was dumb to go to try to defend property. Like, I wish we would make more interesting arguments with what we see in the court case. Thank you, Cast. Big dono from Cast, one of my favorite Oilers. Let's see what you have to say.
If anything can push center people more right, it would be this trial and the coverage by both the left and the media. It's an absolute tragedy. Bonus meme, Kenosha Steve.
Yeah, like, what does Vosh say? What's that A word from lefty discourse? What is it? Apple Tech or something? Some kind of fucking Russian shit where you like try to get people to come to your side. There is like educating people. There's ameliorate. No, there's some kind of like, it's like apotech or something. There's you have to educate people about your side and then convince them to come over to your side. Agitprop. Yeah, there we go. Agitprop. So guys, when you're on the left, you're trying to convince people over, you're trying to bring them over, you're trying to use education and modern topics and discussions and your point of view to get people to come over, right? That's a huge part of what you're doing, right? Vosh even lets a lot of leftist people get away with doing bad things or exploiting parts of the capitalist system because he says that there's a huge benefit just in educating people, just in committing to agitprop, just in getting people to come over. You're not doing that with some of the takes that you're giving on these topics. How much good you've done when weighed against the impact of the bad takes that you're giving needs to be an equation that you're considering. If you are doing all this education and whatever, and you're convincing these people, but then you lose 20% because you have this really dumb inflammatory take on a topic like this one, let's consider this. If the goal is to keep getting this to increase, maybe we also need to be very, very careful about how we handle a topic like this one, right? Take a more David Pakman-esque approach, right? Because you're going to keep that momentum going. You're going to keep convincing people over. I just worry that you shake so many people off when you do things like this and you have takes like this. But to get back to what I was saying earlier, when we talk about something like, it was dumb for him to go to try to defend property, I wish we would be more intelligent with how we can use things that Rittenhouse has said in the trial to defend arguments that we have about this. So, for instance, is it dumb to try and defend property? Destiny says, yes. We can support that by also saying, hey, look, during the trial, Rittenhouse says, that he knows that he couldn't use that firearm to defend other people's property. He couldn't shoot somebody jumping on the hood of a car or breaking windows or starting fires or breaking into a business. He could not have used the firearm for any of those reasons. Even Rittenhouse knows that. That's a point that we can use against conservatives in arguments about that. If it ever comes up that they defend the idea that he was defending property or whatever, we have to look and go, no, he wasn't. He said that he wasn't. He said that under oath. He realizes he can't use the gun for that reason. So let's take that off the table, right? Like, there are constructive things that we can build through Kyle's testimony and through things that have come out in the court case, right? if you were looking to be more constructive with what you could build and what you could say based on your coverage of this case, you could do a lot better rather than coming up with these super extreme takes about it and saying things that are super awful and are going to lose you people. So that's something that I would like consider, right? You're conflating defending property and defending property with lethal force. I'm not going to respond to you. I'm not going to respond to you. I don't like this stuff. I don't like when we're like, actually, Booksmarts, when you said this thing that was worded exactly how this commenter worded this thing, you're actually conflating these two ideas. Because if I were to word that in a different way, another thing could be said about it. They don't mean that it's bad to defend property. They mean that it's bad to defend property with guns. And just because Kyle was there with a gun and conservatives are arguing that he was there to defend property, you know, carrying his gun, does not mean that he was going to commit to lethal defense of property with the gun. Like, yeah, bro, for sure. Like, it's just I hate comments like that. I hate this like nitpickiness. I don't like it. So just pardon me if I get upset at that shit. I know someone's title, and then you're gonna be like, well, actually, it is like, you're not in Destiny's chat. I don't appreciate that stuff. You're not in Demon Mama's chat. I'm not going to appreciate that stuff. I don't like it when you try to debate bro me with these like nitpicky things. Because the broader point is not this specific fucking thing that you're like creating a whole other thing to talk about. It's not that specific fucking thing. It's the broader, use things that are said in the court case to make and combat arguments that you're seeing from conservative people. That's the main point. So when you dig super deep into an example that is based on the wording of a chatter, you're going like 10 levels deep and missing the forest for the trees of like what I'm trying to communicate to you. And I can tell that you're doing that because that's what you chose to focus on and chat about. So that's why it upsets me, because you're kind of missing the point of what I was saying. Most of the righties are calling him a fool. Even the crazy right people on here are better sources of info about Kyle. They may say that publicly. That has not been my experience with righty people in my little chats that I'm in that I'm not allowed to talk about, though. So I don't know. We have different groups of righty people that we're talking to. Certainly people in my family believe very, very different, and they're normie people. So I don't know what to tell you. Do you think if you could get her in a room with God, she would still hold these opinions / defend those takes? Yes. Are these creators just trying to reap the leftist social credit, or do you have more good faith interpretation? No, I believe they believe it. Here's the thing, party people, and thank you, Queen Janie. I'm super sorry for the late responses, but thank you for the host. Here's the thing, party people. I say this every time I talk about leftist stuff, or I try to, and if I forget to, I'm sorry. I need to say it more because I haven't lately. Lefty ideas feel like the right position. They do. To some conservative people, the idea of, you know, constitutional conservatism and stuff feels like the right idea as well, very intuitively. But to lefty people, myself included, lefty stuff feels like the objectively right thing. It feels like if we Thanos snap the next step, that's what the next step is. So it's very, very easy when you're that convinced of the direction that you're going to then be an asshole, because you just know you have this idea that you're just right. That's just objectively the better thing. And you have to really keep that in check. And these creators a lot of the time do not keep that in check. That's why they look really bad. So I don't think it's like to reap leftist social credit. I think a lot of people actually believe in the leftist cause and stuff because it makes sense. Do you want everybody to have food and housing and, the ability to work and to receive a livable wage and to be yeah. Who the fuck wouldn't want that? Who the fuck looks at their neighbor and says, if you were homeless tomorrow, I would feel no way about it? Who the fuck looks at the kid that they gave birth to and says, well, if you don't get a job, you're fucked. Like, I just, it's a coin toss and you better pull yourself up. I think that we want the basic things that a lot of like lefty people start by believing in. Like, yeah, we should have housing for people. People shouldn't be homeless. That's fuck. Everybody should have access to water and food. That's fuck. Kids should be able to have all these things. That should be guaranteed to them. Everybody should be able to get a decent education that isn't tinted by propaganda or this or that. You know, like some of these hierarchies are really negative and they negatively impact people in a way that we could see. I think that racial injustice is a big thing and we need to fix that, because if I were born black, I wouldn't want to be treated worse in America because I'm black. I wouldn't want to like immigrate to a country and then fucking get like shit on because I'm Asian or something else, right? Like we kind of get these positions and we're like, these make a lot of sense. And I don't think that these people don't believe in them. I just think that they get lost in the sauce and they turn into assholes because they have very, very negative interpretations of people that don't believe in that stuff or choose to fight against it because it feels to them like you're fighting against free housing for people. You're fighting against guaranteeing people what I think are basic human rights. You're fighting against future. You're fighting against change. You're fighting against like the very positive direction that the society could take, and you're holding us back. I think that's how a lot of people feel. So it makes them this way. Are you going to react, Andy, to the prosecution? Nah, I don't think I have a ton of good stuff to say about it. Do you think that this trial should have been private? No, I think it's good that it was public, in my opinion. A lot of people will also talk as if they've been in a self-defense situation before when they haven't. It's glaringly ignorant and arrogant. Sure. What's so sad to me is that all this stuff could have a real world effect after the trial is done. Sure, it definitely could. Yeah, like the stochastic terrorism stuff that Stephen is talking about, which I'm sure is where that's coming from. Do you think people should be able to defend property and go to counter riots with arms? I think everybody should, like... Okay, European people, close your ears and say, La de hinter de la de de hinter dinter. Go sing fucking some French rap or something. I don't know. I've spent a lot of time in Europe and this seems to be what you guys do. Just close your ears for a minute here. In the United States, we have the Second Amendment. We have the right to bear arms, and I'm of two minds about this. Either we get rid of the Second Amendment or everybody can have arms. So do I think that people should be able to go to a protest with guns? If I believe in the Second Amendment, yes, they should. Do I think counter-protesters should? Sure. Yeah. That's everybody's right. Do you have a right to go and shoot people at a protest? No. Do you have a right to go shoot counter-protesters? No. But you have a right to bear arms in this country. And if you believe in the Second Amendment, then you probably believe in that. If you believe it should be gotten rid of, then you come to completely different conclusions, right? But because we have it, I think that's everybody's right. Yes. Do you I've been in trouble for this position before, but that's where I'm at with it. I have two minds of it, and it depends on which way you go. Let's see here. Convinced I thought this was war, la la la. I don't think they should. I think I'm not reading that, Androider. The lefties need to learn self-critique. Sure. By the way, Bookie, I'm Cast Plays. Twitch Mobile is cancer. Hi, buddy. What's up, Aaron? I'm just gonna scroll down to the bottom. I'm so sorry. Oh, I've scrolled to the bottom. Ear cucks malding. Oh, EU cucks malding. Your cucks, I guess. Euro dude here. I can understand that this is a right people have in the U.S. In some states, open carry is allowed. Yeah, for sure. And if you want to close carry and bring it there, and that's within the law, that's your right. Dylan's panel on this topic 2 days ago was amazing. Counterpoints is VIP. As per the usual, I have high faith in counterpoints. Oh, right to bear arms is here. We have a proper celebrity in the chat today. Good to have you, buddy. I'd personally never bring a gun to a protest. Askers? If you're anti-gun, you're also against guns in protesters' procession, by the way. I won't say that. I think there's nuance there. A lot of lefties really hung up on the he brought a rifle thing. It's insane to me as a Canadian, but that's the law in America. Get over it. That's not evidence. I'm sorry. Exactly. Because there's a picture. There's a picture here that's not good, guys. The picture is, and this is what conservative people do too, really, really well. Let's paint a picture that people disagree with. Conservative boy throwing up the white power symbol in photographs with people, who is super duper pro cop, decides to go and counter protest against protesters, bringing a man-killing rifle with him across state lines, inserting himself into a conflict that he's not involved in a city that he doesn't live in, to defend businesses that never asked him to be there. You can paint this picture, and then people can have their opinion of it based on that picture. And if that's the first picture you got, or if that picture fits with your narrative or triggers a fucking switch in you to go off, it's super fucking hard to pull back down that switch. It's a lot like if we like opened like a waterway, and now we have tons and tons of water per second flowing through the waterway. And then you're like, oh, fuck, your first impression on this was not correct. We're having a whole court case where this is going down and you're being proven wrong. And we're pulling on this lever really hard, and we're trying to get the spillway to close, and we can't because there's tons and tons of water. There is emotional energy and time spent emotionally digesting sources and engaging with these lefty content creators that keep that flow going. And because that flow has been going for so long, there's so much water and emotional turmoil flowing through there. It was the moment that we opened the switch that really caused all that. And it's just super duper hard externally to close that. That person has to go way upriver and cause some kind of change to stop water from getting through there. It takes a lot of personal work on their end. Externally to stop it, it's really difficult for us. So like, I think the trick is that you really shouldn't be like just fully opening those kinds of spillways immediately when you read stuff about events and whatever. And I think you got to be more chill about things. But the creators on these websites they don't get paid to be chill. Okay. There's a reason why when I'm talking with creators, they're telling me like, if it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead or whatever. If there isn't drama, if there isn't debate broiness, then a panel can't succeed. Like they believe all this shit. They live by that shit, and they perpetuate this awful fucking cycle, right? Like, it's very hard to break that. I took a big chance doing reviews that are going to come out days or weeks late, that are going to be super duper like in depth and 8 hours long, instead of just doing what Relly does, where like you just put the thing on the screen and you laugh at it and you make your commentary and your jokes and stuff, and then you keep moving on. You choosing to do something different takes a lot of energy and will cost you a lot. And it's not easy to expect people to do. And if everybody's just doing the same thing all the time, that's going to lead to this stuff. And again, this isn't a roast on Relly. I always go to these examples because it's like fresh in my head. Relly's not part of the problem with this Kyle Rittenhouse thing, at least from what I've seen. But like, you have to do like what Chud Logic did, where you're like, I'm not going to go with what everybody else is saying here on my side of things, because you guys are like not taking this very seriously. You're not giving an opinion that's going to be helpful to people. You're not interpreting this in a very fair way. You're losing people by doing this. You're coming off as crazy. Like, and then he went his own way about it, right? I think more people have to do that. And you guys as viewers need to hold people more accountable. Like, I'm not going to watch or ever contribute to Bad Bunny, because that's fucking nuts what this person was saying. Like, lefties wield cancel culture so fucking well, but it's a blade that I wish had thorns in the handle. I wish that by using that thing, you left a mark on yourself that will like cause some harm to you as well. The lefty people don't really take harm for doing stupid shit that they're doing as well. And I think that they should. I think that you should look around and see what content creators were saying stupid shit about this. Maybe punish those people a little bit, right? Because like some people are saying some cancelable shit over this. Like, I don't know if you should continue to like financially support some people who are perpetuating the things that you don't want to see. And if you had a sober moment of seeing what they were doing very clearly because of this case, maybe rethink what little money you have that you're giving to those people and don't give it to them anymore. Maybe rethink what little time you have left on this earth that you don't know when you're going to die on it, right? Like when I got my, super bad food poisoning and gross alert, like pooping blood and stuff, like I don't know what's wrong with my body. I could be in a lot of fucking trouble, like I could have a serious problem inside of me, and I don't know what that's going to lead to. You never know when something's going to crop up where you're like in serious health trouble, or you're just going to die, or you're hit by a car, or you get super sick. You never know when something is going to happen to you that's going to really limit the amount of time that you have left here. So consider that time very valuable. And do you really want to watch Bad Bunny cover this? Do you really think that it's funny enough that you want to see the Serfs have bad takes on this? Do you really think it's funny enough that you want to watch somebody with an awful take who's perpetuating awful ideas, that is contributing to an awful environment that you think might be a stochastic terrorist? Or do you just want to cut him out? Blocked on Twitch, blocked on Twitter, no more fucking money, no more of my time. Like, we view some people as spectacles or as punching bags, and that's still helping them. There is a reason why when I do a debate review of Dima Mama or Mike from PA, that lots and lots of people watch. It's not because lots and lots of people are fans of Mike from PA or Dima Mama. Some are. Not going to completely shit on those people. Some are. But it's not what I'm seeing in my comments. It's not what I'm seeing in my chat. There is a hate movement around particular people. And I think that you guys need to rethink that kind of behavior that you have, because you're still helping these people by allowing them to stay relevant. What happened with K Swiftly, with that whole crew of people, right? Eventually, you got so sick of their bullshit that you just stopped watching. You stopped paying attention. They stopped doing what they were doing, whatever, because you took relevance away from them. You have to take relevance away from these people. And that's like a step on you guys as well. The audience is partially to blame for lots of this shit. For the Rittenhouse shit, if you're liking and quote tweeting people because you think they said something stupid and you're not blocking or muting them, you're part of the fucking problem. Honestly, if you're liking the tweets that are constantly talking about that stuff, you're kind of part of the problem. If you're watching one of my debate reviews about somebody and you think that they ought not to be given time or attention, you're part of the problem. And I'm part of the problem for reviewing them as well, right? Like, I think we have to realize that aspect of things as well when we're talking about this stuff. Anywho, I've been ranting a long time. Let me go ahead and scroll down here. Daddy Books is mad at his kids. It's just like, I can only say so much stuff about creators. Creators aren't going to change. You guys have to change because you guys drive what creators do. Creators will stop doing stuff if they stop getting attention or money for it, right? If you guys stop watching debate reviews tomorrow and you only want to watch gaming content, guess who's going to do gaming content, right? So you guys impact what we do. You guys don't watch gaming content. So what do us streamers that are political people not do? Gaming content, because you guys don't watch it, right? Like, there's reasons behind this stuff. And alternatively, like Jay just did, you choose where to spend
my contribution of the hash avoid the event fund. This in the stream today. We'll watch the VOD later.
There we go. You just got to think about that. You guys push it just as much as everybody else. I do not want to stop supporting people like Pac-Man if they get one thing wrong or happen to contribute negatively this one time. This is definitely not about Pac-Man. I didn't say Pac-Man at a single point during this. So it's not. If that's all you took out of that, I feel like you're missing me, and I just don't want to spend more time on you. True, and hate watching is bad for your mental health. There we go. Somebody that gets what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's not good. Don't watch them, but when you review them, like I just said, part of the problem, right? Why do I do it? Because you guys fucking watch it. That's why. Because it performs better than any other review that I do. That's why. And so remember, we started at the beginning of the stream talking about my approach to content. I view it like I view essays. I have a prompt in front of me. I have, you guys like this thing. So I'm stuck doing this thing. And then I had to figure out how I can make that thing enjoyable for me or beneficial to you guys. So if you like Demon Mama conversations and there was a big Demon Mama conversation, I had to figure out how to put out a Demon Mama conversation I can feel good about, right? How to be fair with Demon Mama, how to give advice that's going to be helpful to people that might have some of the same problems that Demon Mama has, right? So like, I work with what I've got. You guys determine what I've got. If you guys really watch like Counterpoint's reviews really like well, I would do reviews on Counterpoints because he's a lot better of a conversational person. I would do more on Rob Noor because I think Rob Noor is a better conversational person. He may be completely frustrating to you, but I think there's things you could learn from his style and his approach to things. If you guys watch more of IRI, I would do more IRI stuff because I like covering him, you know, like you guys determine you guys are the market, you know, there's not much more to say there. Oh, IRI is in the chat. Yeah, exactly. Like IRI probably gets this too. He's having to go back on panel shows and stuff now and debate people and whatever. Like we have to work within what you guys want. And if what you guys push for is this, that, and the other thing, we kind of have to, we know that there's benefit for going for this, that, and the other thing. And if success is some part of our equation in terms of getting people to watch or reaching more people or getting more money, these are things that we have to consider. And you guys are setting that expectation for us by the way that you point your eyeballs and stuff. That's on you guys. I watch your reviews, but I don't watch these people. I avoid Demon Mama except for reviews of her content. I like Counterpoints. I think Rob Noor is not a good conversationalist. I think he performs really well for himself. I will say IRI is a very good matchup for Rob Noor. IRI put out on his YouTube channel recently a debate that he did with Rob Noor. He is such a good counter to Rob because he doesn't fall for Rob's traps. People that don't fall for other people's traps instantly level up in terms of like, oh, you're doing well, right? People that don't fall for the Demon Mama Destiny emotional trap, they do really well. People that then one up that by like turning it around on the other person, like IRI did it a few times in that conversation with Rob, even better, right? And like knowledgeable enough to fight them on knowledge grounds, even better, you know, like that the level up happened quite a few times with IRI. I love seeing that engagement between the two of them. That was a very enjoyable debate for me. Destiny's emotional trap. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. You can only account for yourself, but it's hard to be doomer. These creators always pull some crazy stunts when viewership is low to rise up in relevance. Easy to feel like I can't make a difference. I think you have to only have an expectation as far as your possible impact, right? Like, I don't expect to change or I've had to adjust this where like I have to keep this in my mind. I can't change creators, right? I can only create a message that may be impactful to viewers and then appreciate every time it is, right? All you can control is where you're putting your time and attention and what you're commenting on. So if you choose not to comment on that stuff, the expectation there is not that you're completely destroying this person and that you're going to take relevance away from them, that everybody's not going to watch them. You're doing what you can do, and that's it. Somebody doesn't go vegan because they think they're going to change the whole fucking meat eating industry and they're going to save the fucking world. That's stupid. It's not in line with what they can accomplish. You're doing it because that's the personal thing that you can do, and that's what you're willing to do, right? That's what you're able to do, and that's it. You know, you can't expect more out of it than that, Wolfgang. And that's what I would say to you guys. Don't do it because you want to change the whole fucking ecosystem or whatever. It's not like that. Do it because you want to just not contribute to it, right? Like, vegans don't destroy the whole system by choosing to be vegan. They choose not to contribute to it anymore. You got to just choose to not contribute to it anymore. And there it is. And I feel like that's such a bold comparison because it's way harder, I think, to be vegan than it is to choose not to watch somebody that you hate, or to choose not to like give your attention to these people, or to block them, or to mute them. Like, you know, I don't feel like that is a huge ask when compared to like going vegan or these other things that are a lot more difficult. Like asking a creator to change is a lot more difficult, right? Like, And I think that's a lot harder than even what a viewer has to do. So that's what I would say there. Just don't like expect more than what you're doing is going to accomplish. Just accept that. That's enough. Econo Boy would be super interesting if you have any criticisms toward him, that is. No, I've said this before. I did a private review for an unnamed person about a conversation they had with Econo Boy. And when I initially did the review, I thought they were Econo Boy and I was sweating. I was like, what am I supposed to tell this person? They perform completely well. I don't think that there's like many points at all that I could point out to them. I don't know what the broader advice that I give this person is. And I was like sweating. And then I realized it was for the other person. And I was like, oh, okay, hold on. Now let me redo the whole review because I was worried there for a second. I think Econo Boy is a super strong debater. I want to work on their debates with lots of people. I just need to get those transcribed and then I'll work on them. I've been very sick, so that's been my excuse. But they've done a lot, and I want to go through that backlog for sure. Can I ask for an off-topic personal advice? Sure. I guess we're kind of getting done with our boy Kyle Rittenhouse here. How should content creators take criticisms from their audience, and how should I critique my content creators? So I think content creators should take critiques from their audience publicly and privately first, then publicly. What do? I'm just going to tell you what I do. So I dedicate a whole stream to it. I do. If I got a bunch of negative feedback on something, I sit with it privately. I read the stuff and I go, okay, I think that these are the main points. I'm going to meditate before. I'm going to chill the fuck out. I'm going to realize the point of this stream is not to buff my ego. It's to fucking destroy it. And I'm going to talk with people and try not to fight with them and be open to what's wrong with the content. Thank you for that, Squirter.
Don't ever change books.
I'll try not to, Mr. Squirter. And then just make a stream about it. Take criticism from the audience. Be in the headspace for it. Hear him out, you know? And don't be super dismissive like you are all the time. Because if you're a content creator, you do this, you have some kind of ego. That's why you can keep doing this, me included. Turn it off for a little bit. Get comfortable with that. Be humbled. Take a stream to do that. That's what I do. And how should I critique my content creators? Advocate for that. Be like, yo, you should do like a stream where you go through like community feedback or something. Push for that stuff, you know? That honestly, there's lots. Leave a nice constructive comment. Give a make a compliment sandwich and have some kind of ask in there. Email them. There's lots that you could do. You know the ways that you can reach out to your content creator. Be rhetorically effective about the way that you reach out and voice your concern. And voice it as a question, because there may be reasons that you don't see that things are the way they are. I had to take a huge step back when it came to Rittenhouse. All the dumb decisions that he chose to do leading to the altercations exemplified big problems I have with the right. It made it really hard not to attach my bias to every bit of evidence. Nobody cares that people died in the altercation, only that the other side is wrong. Sure. Don't forget, it's to make your own life better, not the world. Yeah, exactly. To Wolfgang from earlier. You can try to convince the people directly around you, but yeah, not much impact, more impact than that. Yeah, and find a community and be a part of a community that's not down for that shit. I'd like to think that the community we're building here is a little bit like that. What if I do both, bookfucker? If you do both, I don't discriminate, my brother. I'm not a part of bi erasure. I used to watch a lot of Vosh. I completely stopped engaging with all of his content recently. I don't know if I can say it was a conscious decision not to support him, but I just felt gross watching. And if you feel gross watching a content creator, there's your come into Jesus. Think about that for a second. Like, what is the point if you feel gross watching them? Like, just think about that. Somebody else will eat meat, so me eating meat is morally neutral. Whatever, dude. Book smarts. So we should stop watching Demon Mama and instead watch Amaranth. I don't have any problems with Amaranth. Lil Books, are you saying don't engage in what you don't like and do engage in what you do like? I like how you're saying that like it's a fucking stupid thing to say. Like, yeah, don't engage in what you don't like. If this is entertainment for you, If this is education, very different. If you're doing research, very different, right? But you're not doing research by watching a Twitch stream, are you? You're not trying to get educated by watching a Twitch stream, are you? How good is your Twitch stream at educating you? Is it biased? Is it fucking with you? Maybe if you want to learn about how conversations work and get advice, this channel will work for you. Maybe if you want to see logical inconsistencies with other people, Destiny's channel might work for you. Maybe if you want to evaluate things based on the evidence that's presented and what conclusions we could reach, a relevance channel might be good for you, right? Different channels might be good, but you need to be conscious about what it is you're trying to get out of it. If all it is entertainment, what you like and what you don't like should be determining what you engage in or don't engage in. Yes, I'll die on that hill, whatever. You're probably right. It just sucks when you feel like you're the only one that wants to do it. Sure, because you have a community of people that you're probably leaving behind, but you can talk about other stuff other than the creator. If all you have connecting you and that community is the creator, and you're not really about the creator anymore, you could try to talk with them about other stuff. There's people in the Destiny Discord that refuse to watch Destiny anymore. There's people in the Vosh Discord that refuse to watch Vosh anymore. There's people in my Discord, I'm convinced, don't necessarily watch everything I put out. So, there's ways around this stuff. I'm vegan and I hate watching right-wingers regularly. What the fuck is wrong with me? Go see a doctor. Booksmarts, there are some people who are choosing not to perpetuate these bad interactions. Even new creators like Econoboy or Rose Wrist. True. I don't argue against that. Ooh. I definitely need water. My throat is drying out. Off topic, though, I like to think I watch people with good takes. I spend at least 14 hours watching Twitch, mostly Destiny. I feel like I will have trouble going back to school after this. What should I do? Stop now. Community feedback streams for the win. You're right, Booksmarts. Thanks. Yeah, I think they're good. Like, I think you have to eat humble pie every so often. Like, I think recently I also did like a stream where I encouraged people to argue against me and like challenge me. And I had a note that I stickied to my computer that said, don't get angry, breathe. And just anytime somebody would piss me off with a comment, just imagine that's me in another body. The whole life that they lived up till now led them to give me this honest question. They don't expect me to have this super negative answer. What they're looking for is a positive and measured response. So give that to them, Booksmarts, please scream at Counterpoints for his recent discussion with Destiny. They both need help. I'll try. Unironically, I can't because Counterpoints has an awful fucking schedule I can't line up with. Unironically, it's the advice Jordan B. Peterson, gives about trying to improve the things around you, not the things you can't control. Yeah, exactly. Well, because like this is a basic psychology thing. So yeah, of course, yeah. I just hate when like things are specifically attributed to Jordan B. Peterson that are general psychology things, because I worry sometimes that people think that like Jordan is coming up with this shit on his own, and he's not. I have a psychology degree from watching the End of Destiny arc. Eek, that one's not worth a lot. I watch Amaranth for research. Oh, okay, interesting. Some Kama Sutra type shit. You're good at educating me. Oh, I'm happy to hear that, dude. Let's see here. Twitch detox or internet detox can be a real thing. Look up what can work for you. Yeah, it's fun to do. Booksmarts, listen, I didn't ask for your opinion, motherfucker. Past Booksmarts law actually did, buddy. I don't know what that means. My friend. Booksmarts, you give me a lot of insight and patience for dealing with things in my life. I'm happy to hear that. Dude, honestly, what keeps me going through a lot of these streams and stuff are all of the positive remarks that I get from people. What's sad is sometimes I'll talk to my streamer buddies, and I guess this is not like a normal thing that everybody gets, but I get pretty frequently emails telling me like, hey, you helped me sell a house today because like you mentioned about like not getting lost in the sauce on like conservative versus like liberal things. And a homeowner had said something and I remembered like you said to try and empathize with them about it. And I did, and we connected and I became friends with it. Like I get so many nice messages in comments and DMs, and that keeps me going. So not every creator gets those. I ask for them, and those who ask shall receive. But yeah, those keep me going. So comments like this, even in my Twitch chat, make me like very, very happy. Can you please sponsor Discord servers at the end of streams that you think will help people who have these types of parasocial relationships become more educated, like a philosophy Discord? Exclamation point jargon. I don't like philosophy. I'm sorry, I can't do that. You've given me a lot of insight and patience for dealing with things in my life. Like, to send you to a philosophy Discord after you've had parasocial problems feels like I'm sending you to go try cocaine after you've been addicted to heroin. I feel like it's just a different thing that's going to ruin your life. Another thing that you're going to become obsessed with that's going to disconnect you from reality and the people that live in it. So I don't know how I would feel about that. You've given me a lot of insight and patience for dealing with it. Yeah, okay, I read that one. Says fuck more than any other streamer. What? Vivian says fuck more than me. Khaki Coffee, thank you for the sub. Let's see here. Hi, Booksmarts. Hope you're having a great day. I am. I hope you're having a good day so you don't say stupid shit in my chat. People attribute this stuff to Jordan Peterson because he is rhetorically effective and communicates effectively. Boy, oh boy, ain't that true. And people wonder why Hassan is credited with so much. I watch Booksmarts and Amaranth for the exact same reasons. No questions, please. Research. I know. Let's see here. You helped pull me out of the argue with every single word mindset from the DGG community. I'm happy about that. I'm happy to hear it, dude. It's not good. Hey, Booksmarts, you helped me find out what my cat's favorite snack was. It was peanut butter. I'm 27 and watch Twitch and YouTube 18 hours a day. Some people say I have a Coke problem. I don't. Thanks. You know what people with a Coke problem have? Liquid income. Okay? So if you have a Coke problem, what I need you to do is cut down Coke intake by like an eighth or a quarter, fractions that I'm sure you're very well aware of and familiar with, and send some of that money over here. Okay? Give me some of your Coke money. That's what I want from you. Send me some of your Coke money. I know you have it, motherfucker. Give me my money. You should send them to an NFL Discord or like a golf stream or something if you want them to reintegrate with normies. Oh, maybe. Or just tell them to fucking go outside, dude. Go join like a local club. Go to library. Go to like a local dance. You should send them to an... I already said that. Booksmarts, I will always say stupid shit in your chat. I have to maintain my worst chatter ranking. There you go. You're a hard worker. Say what you will. Booksmarts, have you reacted to the Prime panel with Destiny and Viv yesterday? No. I'm not sure I want to cover stuff about Viv, honestly. So probably not. I don't enjoy watching that shit either, so it's not like I'm going to watch it of my own accord. The other reason, for instance, that I watched Rose Riss talk with Deem Mama is because Rose Riss is somebody who's reached out to me, and Rose Riss is somebody who I want to keep an eye on the way that they're engaging because I like it so far. That's the only reason. So I'm not super interested in watching Destiny and Viv talk. Booksmarts, get me on so I can... Now, if he gets like unaffiliated or unpartnered, then I'll watch the stream, but otherwise no. Booksmarts, get me on so I can talk with you about why your rhetoric advice won't... Nope, I don't care. Now you have a books problem. Maybe. If you're in London, check the flower pots along Regent's Canal. Dealers may or may not hide their coke in them. Is that allowed? I feel like that's so weirdly specific that might get me in trouble. Oh, no. That's so weirdly specific. I used to be a big Jordan Peterson fan back in 2016, was starting to lean more right wing, but Destiny brought me out of that. Good. Watching debate panels is mental self-harm. Not all of them are that bad, dude. Actually, debate panels probably. Philosophy is such a lame way to disconnect from reality when drugs are a thing. Oh, no. Lamau the Coke bit was clever, chuckling in the coffee shop right now. Well, if you're chuckling, then you know, and you probably also have liquid income. You better shoot me over. You can donate on mobile. Give me $5 for that funny joke. I went from DGG brain rot to Buchschmort. Okay. Pro tip, don't steal from Coke dealers, Keck W. Yeah, there you go. Looking at plane tickets to London. Hey, do you still have the moldy sauce jar, or are you a fucking coward? No, I ate it. It's Booksmarts, Street Smarts. True. Are you a fan of Coheed and Cambria? Have you? No, I don't even know who the fuck that is. Do you think participating in a debate would tarnish your brand? No. I've been in them before. So no. No, not really. I think like what I should do, what I'm really tempted to do, is do what Relly does a little bit. Like for just one stream a month, do what Relly does. Do Discord or ban. Like bring people on, have them give a take, and we'll just talk about it. Like, hey, I believe that XYZ people shouldn't have rights. Interesting. Let's bring them on. Tell me about that. What's going on? Why do you believe in that? But here's the difference. Relly has an open dialogue debate. Mine would not be that. What I would do is have a hot seat. You need to come on and treat it as if it were a change my mind panel or a change my mind Reddit, where you're like, I'm coming on here. I want to have my mind changed. I'm open to it. I'm not here to espouse all my ideas or whatever. I'm going to give you a brief like TLDR of what I believe. And then your job is to walk me through a conversation where we're trying to change that. That's what I would be okay with doing. Is a kind of like change my view, engagement. I don't care to debate. I don't want us to put two ideas up against each other and figure out which one's better or whatever, because I think that attracts the wrong sorts of people. I don't like that. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in a battle of ideas. What I'm interested in is if you want to understand another side of something, I would be interested in helping you through that. But otherwise, I don't care to debate people. But that would be a kind of conversation I would be interested in. Keep a list of those chatters to dis or ban at the end of the month. I don't know. I agree that would be awesome, like Relly's stream, but the issues are it's surprisingly hard to drag people in. They usually pussy out and get banned. That's why I think this is a little bit easier to run, because I think people would be more interested to do this. After watching like 12 hours of the Rittenhouse trial, interviewed with a bunch of lawyers, I find myself so angry at the misinformation by the left on the trial. I do too. We already talked about it though. Booksmarts, we need to have conversations or ban. Yeah, maybe. Or just ask somebody, would you change your mind or would you not? And if you wouldn't change your mind, then you're fucked. So that is what it is. Let's see here. Sounds like a cool idea. I'm happy you think so. But yeah, so that would be something I'm interested in doing. And I think it'd be far more, I don't know, on Booksmart's brand than debating people. Bring me on. Let's talk about something. I'm bored. Give me a topic and I'll gladly converse. Well, you have to think about what that is. Think about the worst idea that you have about things and then come forward with it. Okay. I'm going to find a place to put you guys for the night because my voice is completely done skis. I don't think I could continue. Mo dame yo. Dame nana. Dame yo. Dame nanu yo. Dame dana. Da da dum. Da 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 dum. Let's see here. Sounds cool either way. Good to hear. Chud? Maybe. Maybe. Depends on who all is online. I raid Chud quite a bit. So if we have another option, I'm gonna pick another option, but it probably will have to be Chud. Yeah. Oh, Destiny only has 443 viewers. What's up with that? Oh, D&D. Oh. Oh no. That is a losing formula. Yeah. I think we'll do Chud Logic. He just got on? Oh, okay. He just got on. Hopium. Oh shit. Chud Logic. Chud Logic it is. Oh shit. Want to do a D&D stream? Hell no. Hell no, brother. I don't want to do nothing of the sort. D&D is based? Yeah, on your own fucking time, not on stream, bro. Come on now. I think this is supposed to be a good D&D episode. Well, it better be. They're planning it. Well, pile in, Twitch people. If you want to go check out Chud Logic, hop in. I think he's all done talking about Kyle Rittenhouse stuff. So if you're sick of that at this point, I'm pretty sure he's done with that. Nosh is fun as hell to watch. Well, you're far and few between. All right. I will see you guys later, Twitch chat. I'm going to say goodbye to my YouTube chat, and then I'll be gone. Talk to you later. Smell you later, nerds. Bloop. YouTube chat. Hello, party people. Thank you for hanging out. I've missed talking to you guys. Sorry I had to take so much time off. My fucking health is just not good. But hopefully it'll be better soon. And I'll keep you guys posted on where I'm headed to in the world. Yeah. I probably won't be following the stream schedule super duper tightly. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow. Maybe I won't. We'll see how my health is going. Yeah. Look forward to that. Look forward to a review up and coming about Destiny and a mystery debater that will be a line by line. And yeah, have a good night, everybody.